Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. The day before New Year's Eve, we're about to go into 2026. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Excuse me. A show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture, hot topics, and all that good stuff. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about the box office, all that good stuff, because we weren't on yesterday, so we got to talk about the box office. Looks like Timothée Chalamet is having a good old time claiming December as his month because, a lot of his movies have been big hits around that time. Plus, we got to get into this third teaser because they just released the second teaser for Doomsday regarding Thor. So now we have the one regarding X-Men that I told you about the other day. Details are spilled out about it. I got some pictures, all that good stuff. So definitely stick around for that story and who Cyclops could be battling in the upcoming Doomsday situation. Plus, we got to talk about Ryan Coogler revealing his original plans for Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa in Wakanda Forever before he had found out that he was sick and the cancer and all that other stuff. And what he's got in store for Denzel Washington for Black Panther 3, because Ryan just did an interview on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, so I got all the details regarding that. Jordan Peele revealed that he is about to direct a Marvel movie. There's stories regarding that. Some people think it might be Blade, so we'll get into that. We got to talk about this tea regarding Tyler Perry and these latest accusations. Now he's trying to save face by leaking text that he had between him and the gentleman that is suing him. Plus, I got a video from Law and Crime, which breaks down the whole thing. And y'all might actually be seeing a whole different side, meaning that those of y'all that's still in that little cloud of thinking Tyler is innocent and all of this, that video might change your mind because I watched it and I gagged. So we'll get into that. Plus, Diddy is still pondering suing Netflix over the docuseries they just did with 50 Cent and all that other stuff. And they moved up his prison sentence. Cardi B is going in on her fans for throwing shade at her over her relationship with Stefon Diggs. We'll get into that. Plus, Britney, apparently, her situation with her son. So Jaden came over for Christmas, but apparently I was like, what's going on with Sean? Why wasn't Sean there? So we got some details on that. Plus, I'm thinking Page Six might not be entirely truthful with this whole tea because Rob Shooter spilled some tea, and we're going to get into what he had to say on that too. So we got that. Plus, we got to talk about this Stranger Things season 5 episode with Will coming out. Apparently, got review bombed and a whole bunch of stuff surrounding that whole situation. And we got to talk about Chappell Roan getting dragged on social media for giving a tribute to Bigot Bardot over her recent, people didn't know a lot about what was going on with her past and stuff until a lot of people started talking about it on social media. And so she took down her apology and she apologized and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll get into that story. Plus, we got to talk about this Ginger Minj tea. I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I've been noticing like all the girls was coming at her from Aja on down. Even Cynthia Lee Fontaine jumped into the chat. So I'm sitting there like, what is going on with Ginger Minj? So I got all the tea. We're going to unpack it. We got the receipts and a whole lot more clips and everything. This is going to be a receipt heavy show. So buckle up, Buttercup, because this show about to be messy, per usual. So before we get into those messy topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And also, before we get started, I want to thank all the new people that came in and discovered this channel based off that Nicki Minaj, and the gays and stuff boycotting her and all that stuff. I want to thank all of y'all that subscribed, that commented, good, bad, or indifferent. Some of y'all were saying some shady shit, and I had to block y'all bitches. I'm like, no, you don't deserve to have access to this channel. So, but everybody else who came in and the numbers I've noticed have the channel is blowing up, the video blew up. And so I appreciate all of you newbies that have come in and discovered the show. And if you're watching it live for the first time, welcome. Be sure to leave your comments in the chat. We are a family over here and all that good stuff. I got all my sisters with me. But anyway, let me hit the thing because I see like people's up in here. Sailor Mermaid. How you doing? Happy early New Year's. Happy early New Year to you too, because this is going to be the last show before 2026. I ain't gonna be able to do one tomorrow because I gotta work the final fish show at MSG. So that's gonna be a long, long night. But the only thing that's gonna keep me going with all of that is the fact that my check gonna be looking good after working that situation. Plus, it goes towards my bonus, so that's why I'm not really all that upset about it. A lot of people in my job be complaining about fish. I'm not bothered by it. A lot of the fans are cool. A lot of them are hippies. Yesterday, one of the guys at the show, I'm like, okay, you're a little weird. You're walking around the whole, like, in your section with no shoes on. I'm like, this is not your house. Number two, the floors is dirty. Even though, yes, it does get clean and stuff in there. I'm not putting my bare feet on no damn floor of no place that's not my house. So, but clear people be clear people in. And you said, hey, sailing everybody. Hello, everyone. Cleveland's in the building. The only thing I can say for Ginger is when you lose a lot of weight, it can affect. Because it's like all her damn common sense went with that weight loss, right? He said, celebrated Christmas in Morocco and New Year's as well. Then she said, start the disco in mid-January. Yeah, so we should be getting new Madonna music. Excited. And so with 2026 also, I'm going to be I am going to be building bigger and better things for the channel and also trying to expand and do other stuff. So only way on up is up, right? And plus, on top of that, I want to create, because I've been really big into this, and I want to thank Onyx for putting me on to like some of the stuff that he was sending me in private. But I want to create a vision board. So I need to go to Michael's. I need to get me a vision board. I need to start taking photos, put it in an email, then emailing it, then print it out, cut out the paper, because this is the way we got to do shit now. Take pictures that inspired you, email it. Then when you print out the side, cut out all the photos, stick it to the vision board, and have an idea of what it is I want to do. Because before, I used to write stuff down in a book of all the things I want to accomplish. And I look back at the book and I was like, oh, I accomplished a lot of these things that I put in here. So it truly does work when you have an idea and you want to manifest things for your career or anything you want going on in your personal and professional life. Yes, you should, Sailor Mermaid. Do a vision board. If you have any or anybody watching, if y'all have any ideas of which one, and I'm gonna do this about New Year's resolution. Just how I feel about New Year's resolution. It's all bullshit. YouTube, don't flag me for the middle fingers. That was just me giving the finger to the New Year's resolution thing. But I think everybody should do a vision board and have an idea of what it is you want to do, because when you say it out loud or when you look at it and remind yourself, I feel like when you put that energy out there, it will definitely make things happen for you. So, I'm not the type of person that's going to be selfish and try to keep things to myself. If something is working for me and I feel like it's going to work for other people, I definitely want to pass that information on. There's too many damn selfish people around here that want to hoard things, hoard things for themselves. I'm getting tickets to Zara Larson Midnight Sun Tour, and I'm beginning Icona Pop. Wait, you don't want, are you saying, and go to Kesha, Charlie XCX, Tolo, and Robin and do it in amphitheater so we could. Wait, what? He said also a separate project board can be good for separate things. I might have to look into that too. Look, you can have to, I already saw Zara Larson perform. I told y'all that she did Jingle Ball, and I worked Jingle Ball, and she's a lot of fun. She puts on a good show. I like her. So, but yeah, she's about to. Who's the other girl? You said they're about to do Megan. She's about to do Megan Trainor's tour. Is it Zara Larson? No, it's Who is it supposed to be doing? I kind of pop. Whose show are they doing? First of all, and I also noticed Florence and the Machine is doing 2 nights at the Garden. So I already know I'm getting one of those shows because they always if it's multiple nights, I'm more than likely will be getting those shows. But anyway, let me stop the rambling. Let me hit my banner, and let's get right into the show. So wait, hold on, because I just realized one of my things is open, so I had to close that. Okay, so let's get into topic number 1. Let's talk about the box office. So yesterday, the box office numbers and everything came out. We didn't get to do a show yesterday because I told you I was working. So I wasn't able to come on board with it. But it looks like Timothée Chalamet got a reason to celebrate in A24 as well. Because, A24 has been kind of having a bit of a rough year, especially with some of the movies they did. Like Smash Machine didn't do all that well at the box office. But Timothée Chalamet has proven that he is a one-man marketing machine. Maybe we can give that maybe some credit to the Kardashians. I don't know. I know a lot of people will be feeling away about his relationship with Kylie. Well, yeah, there's Kylie Jenner. With Kylie Jenner, but it looked like some of her stuff was rubbing off on him, and so the marketing thing works. Plus, he's young enough, so he's pretty much got his finger on the pulse of Gen Z. He's trying to, perpetuate himself as sort of like a people's actor. Like he's very personable in a way. Like I told you last season, he was at the Knicks games and the fans was, I think, loving him because of that, where he was very much dapping up a lot of the fans, especially when the Knicks was winning a lot from last season. And then, of course, we lost the playoffs, and then Jim Dolan, my boss, had to be like, okay, we got to chop this coach, which I'm glad we got a new one because the Knicks been kicking ass lately, which I've been loving. But anyway, this is not about Knicks talk. But anyway, it kind of is because Timothée Chalamet is a big fan. So that's where a lot of times I've been seeing him was at the Knicks games and stuff. So with that being said, let's get into the story. So James Cameron, a lot of people feeling the way about Avatar, whatever the case is, thinking it's not going to be able to, cross the $1 billion mark. Apparently, it looks like it's about to. In a couple of weeks, because in 2 weeks it's already grossed 760 million worldwide. Now, if it doesn't do well domestically in the United States, I guess they're like, okay, whatever. But that international coin is something else. So they says James Cameron's sci-fi threequel, Avatar: Fire and Ash, remained comfortably atop the domestic box office over the Christmas stretch. Meanwhile, a trio of new comedy releases, A24's sports dramedy Marty Supreme, and Focus features musical tearjerkers Song Sung Blue, which is another movie I'm hearing is really good, and I want to see that. But then they also released Anaconda, which they're trying to call an action comedy. First of all, fuck Anaconda and fuck Sony, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Sony trying to be funny with this situation to my... Because there was somebody that posted and was calling it a horror film. Don't be trying to categorize a horror film. Well, last when I checked, when I seen the original Anaconda with Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube, which I heard there are cameos from some of the cast members. I don't know. I haven't seen it, nor do I care, because that movie does not look good at all. And I've been seeing a lot of the reviews where they're saying, like, yeah, Anaconda is trash. Do not waste your money. It's trying to be Tropic Thunder so bad. And now you're trying to make it a comedy situation. It's like, wait a minute. If we got a giant snake going around eating people, where is that a comedy? Where am I supposed to ha watching that? I want to see some thrills and kills, which I'm actually hearing that you get from that new movie Primate, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing because Primate is getting rave reviews. A lot of people who've seen it, the embargo apparently is lifted and saying like, yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. So I want to see that movie. In January, it does look like it's going to be stacked with horror. Between 28 Weeks Later and Primate, and I think it was a couple of other movies that I saw. Oh wait, there's a zombie movie coming out with Daisy Ridley that looks really good. I want to see that. That's coming out in January also. January, like I said, is going to be stacked with horror films. So if Anaconda wants to call itself an action comedy, but y'all lacking on the comedy, then you call it whatever it is. But sorry, Sony, it look like you got another flop in your hands. A bigger flop than probably Kraven the Hunter, which I also heard Ryan Coogler said he wanted to have Kraven in Black Panther, but Sony didn't allow it. We'll get into that story after this one. So with all the bands, so I definitely want to see that Song Sung Blue movie with Hugh Jackman and I almost said Kate Blanchett, Kate Hudson. That's it. I'm getting my Kates confused, or I had just a different Kate in my head. So there's that. Anaconda's flopping. Zootopia 2 was in number 2, came in second in its 5th weekend. Avatar 3 added a solid 64 million, over the traditional weekend at 88 million since the Christmas holiday on Thursday. The 3-day figure is a scant 28% decline, which is actually not bad for its second week. From its 89 million domestic debut, a stronger hold than its predecessor, 2022's The Way of Water, which I mean, some people say that they thought Fire and Ash was better than The Way of Water. Now I think I kind of want to see the movie, but I'm gonna wait until it comes out on streaming or whatever. I'm not rushing to go to no movie to see no damn Avatar. Or maybe before it comes out of IMAX, I'll go and see it. Because look, I just heard that Tron Ares is about to hit Disney Plus next month. I think January 7th, and Wicked for Good is already available to watch at home. So I'm just sitting there like, damn, y'all don't even give people a chance to like go see stuff in theaters. You already got it available. Like I could watch Wicked for Good in my house if I wanted to. I am contemplating renting it though. So they said the first 2 Avatar films were number 1 for 7 consecutive weekends, eventually earning well over $2 billion each. Marty Supreme enjoyed the best debut among newcomers and third with 17.4 million from 2,600 theaters over the weekend and 27.1 million through the 4-day holiday frame. Domestic ticket sales stand at 28.3 million after a weekend and limited release. The 3-day figure marks the second biggest opening weekend to date for A24, the beloved indie behind Everything Everywhere All at Once, Hereditary, and Lady Bird. Alex Garland's Civil War remains the studio's best debut with 25 million over the traditional 3-day weekend. First of all, I saw Civil War in the movies. That movie freaked me out because I was watching it and I saw it in IMAX. And I'm like, oh my God, this movie is really good. And then I also saw Warfare. I think it's also an A24 movie. I just saw that over the weekend. It was good, but felt like it was missing something. But overall, I enjoyed it. I wonder what I wonder what the actual budget was for Marty Supreme, because you know with A24 they don't really spend a whole lot of money except on a Smash Machine, which I thought was ridiculous. Y'all spent $50 million on that damn movie. So they said for Marty Supreme, the stellar cast can be attributed to director Josh Safdie for making the movie that's resonating with audiences. Funny enough, we're talking about John Safdie. I know his brother must be seething because his brother actually directed. This is the funny part. John Safdie is the one that has the big movie, right? His brother directed Smashing Machine and it flopped. So that's the funny part between that. So it's like you have these two that come together. They made movies in the past. They went off and kind of did their own thing. One brother had a flop. They both was at A24. One movie flopped earlier this year, and then we get to the end of the year, and the other brother has a successful hit on his hands. Is it kind of saying like who's got the more talent, and maybe some of the other one might be better off together with his brother than apart? So yeah, so it says that Timothée Chalamet, who plays a fictional tennis table champ and has been a one-man marketing machine, going to great lengths and heights to get out the word about the film. A24 spent roughly $7 million to produce Marty Supreme. Damn, that's a lot of money, which is expected to remain a box office draw due to positive reviews and great word of mouth. Moviegoers, roughly 65% of whom were 35 or younger, gave the R-rated film a B+ grade, which on CinemaScore exit polls, that's a far better reception than the C+ grade that was bestowed upon Safdie's prior film, the deeply unsettling Uncut Gems. I didn't see that, by the way. Maybe because I heard so much hype around it, I just didn't care to watch it. Now, stand power will be important, however, because Marty Supreme needs to generate a lot of coinage to justify its price tag, the biggest ever for A24. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like with $50 million y'all put towards the Smash Machine for his brother's film, and then $75 million or $70 million to roughly, they're saying, which means that's not an actual estimate. They're saying roughly around there. Then with doing that, that means that yeah, y'all better hope y'all make that money back, because $70 million on that, you gotta at least hope. Like, how much would that have to break in order to break even? Like close to $200 million? Does something like a Marty Supreme have that kind of staying power where it could bring in around that kind of money? So they said sports dramas are not big movies to begin with. Yeah, ask Christy. But the right cast can elevate them, says David A. Gross, who runs the movie consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research. He's referring to films like F1, the movie, which I actually liked, and I saw that in Dolby. I didn't see that in IMAX. I wish I would have, but Dolby was just as fine. And then Air, which had Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Timothée Chalamet is making that kind of difference. Well, he might be one of the rarities that's like a true movie star, because they always say like movie stars don't really exist, and for the most part they don't. But Timothée Chalamet is really proven to be like, he said he wants to be one of the greats, so he wants to be the Michael Jordan of acting. So in so many words, so he's doing what he's got to do to take on that position. There's some actors that want the big parts but don't want to put in the work to actually go out and promote and do all the other things. Timothy's willing to play the game. And I'm not saying the game of like Hollywood politics, whatever the case is, but it's just the game of I got to do what I got to do to become the GOAT in my generation of actors, where it's post the traditional way that movie stars were made. Because the old traditional way of movie stars, that's all dead. Tom Cruise can't even open movies like he used to anymore. Although I did hear that new movie he's got with Inarritu directed. I heard that movie's like over $100 million. You better hope and pray he's got that cachet still to get somebody to come see this weird ass movie where all I see is him look with a receding hair, a silhouette of him with a receding hairline, kneeling with a big old nose. I'm like, what the hell is this movie even about? So Anaconda landed at number 5 with 14.6 million over the weekend and 23.7 million since Christmas. The movie also opened internationally with 20 mil for a global start of 43.7 million, a 45 million budgeted meta reboot. Anaconda has Jack Black and Paul Rudd as best friends who travel to the jungle to pursue their childhood dream of remaking their all-time favorite movie, which is 1997's Anaconda, which I will say this, the original movie, I have a soft spot for it. I love the movie. It's a guilty pleasure. Like the sequel that went straight to DVD or something or another. That was a lot of fun. I think they made other films, but I never watched them. So I only watched I only watched the first two. It's kind of like Tremors. Love Tremors, and I even like Aftershocks. After that, I ain't watched another Tremors movie because I already knew, okay, these movies are corny or whatever. But I like the first two, and I think the second one went straight to video or whatever. But it was a load of fun. Okay, so they said the project starts to unravel when life imitates art and a real anaconda begins hunting them down, which sounds like a good concept, but everybody keeps saying the movie is not that good. Now, critics and audiences were mixed on Anaconda, which has a 51% Rotten Tomatoes average and a B grade on Cinema Score. So then we could also get into, so we could hurry up and wrap this up. Song Sung Blue opened in eighth with 7.6 million over the weekend and 12 million through the 4-day holiday frame. Craig Brewer directed the 30 million budgeted movie featuring Hugh Jackman and Kay Hudson, and the true story of a two down on their luck musicians who form a Neil Diamond tribute band. Now, opening weekend crowds dug the movie, which earned an A grade on Cinema Score, the best marks among the new releases. In terms of ticket buyers, 65% were female, while 53% of audiences were above the age of 55. So they're pretty much saying there's a lot of women that's going to see it and a lot of people who are older. Sounds about right. And it also says the crowd pleased because this young generation ain't listen to no damn Neil Diamond. They will listen to, like, if the equivalent of a Neil Diamond type music or whatever would be Benson Boone or Chappell Roan. Like, it's something in that realm. If one of them was in that movie, maybe you would get the younger audience. But they were doing tribute music of what they're doing. But then again, they ain't been around long enough to even acquire being tributed to. So, but you understand what I'm saying. So, meanwhile, they also said Zootopia 2 outpaced the newcomers with 20 million over the weekend, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people looking at Timothée Chalamet a certain way, whatever, but he's a box office draw. He's bringing people out. And I don't know what other movie he has coming out next year except Dune 3. That's the only movie I know. And that'll be interesting because from what we spoke about the last time, he has not, well, it's going up against Avengers Doomsday. So with those two movies going up against each other, I don't know if Timothée Chalamet's got what it takes to dethrone Avengers, especially with all the history that MCU has. So somebody's got to move in that thing because, like I said, I'm clearly the demographic for both films. I want to see Avengers Doomsday and I want to see Doom 3. And I want to see them both in IMAX or Dolby. So somebody's going to have to fight over those theaters. They got to figure out how they're going to work out who's going to alternate what. Like, if you're going to put Doom at 12 o'clock and then at 4 o'clock showing, they'll put, Avengers. So y'all going to have to share the theaters. Like, how's that going to work? So somebody's got to figure out something. So yeah, while Timothée Chalamet is definitely proven like he's the king of the box office for now, I don't know if he's that big of a king that he'll be able to take on and win in a fight up against Avengers Doomsday. So somebody's going to have to move. And I get it. Doom had the slot first, but it ain't always about who has something first. And you already see Avengers already started their promotional campaign with all the little trailers and stuff that's coming out, which we're going to get into in a minute when we talk about the Cyclops X-Men trailer, and then we're going to talk about Thor and all that other stuff. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story about, the whole box office and everything? Have y'all seen any of the new movies that's coming out? Do you have any plans on wanting to go to the movies and see these films? And have you seen Avatar? What you think? All that good stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, speaking of comments, we got a whole lot of them. Oh, you said I kind of pompous. Oh yeah, they're supposed to be coming to. They're supposed to be doing. Yeah, Megan Trainor's supposed to be doing a night at the Garden. But yeah, I kind of pop. I would love to see. I would love to see them by themselves. I'm also kind of upset because I would really love to see Robin, who's going to be performing in Brooklyn tomorrow. But I have to work, so I'm not going to be able to go. So I saw TV Nix was still touring at the. Look, if I say do it as long as you can. I mean, look at how long Tony Bennett was performing until he was damn near on his deathbed. Same thing with Billy Joel. Billy Joel has been performing, well, he hasn't been lately because he's been sick. And I got to work his residency and all this stuff that he had at the Garden. So seeing him and performing all the stuff, it was good. It's always funny when older people come up to me and they're like, "Do you like the music?" And it's like they always think like I'm gonna be, because of how I look, because I'm younger, obviously, that I'm gonna be sort of like, "Oh, well, I don't want to hear this old people music." I was like, music is music. I'm a fan of music. I was, I grew up classically training in music and all other stuff. So music, I receive music differently than most of the people at my job, where they're just like, "Oh, I don't like working these shows and I don't want to do it." It's like, whatever. Music is music to me. I love live entertainment. It's like, I like my job and what I do. There's people that just look at their job as a job. But I'm not one of those people where back in the day I did, but not anymore. Now it's like I do whatever fulfills me passionately. It's not always about the money. I mean, the money would be better in so many ways if only the money could match the passion of the job that you have. But gone are the days that I'm just doing a job for the job. He is carving out a serious and mainstream career, a very hard thing to do. Exactly. It is very hard to try to create you know, carve out a mainstream career and taking it seriously. Ellen McKay was not a good movie. Me and my mom, it looked boring. Because I'm saying, like, who the hell is Ellen McKay? I have to constantly be reminded. It's that movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. I was like, when I saw it, I'm like, I don't care about this shit. Like, who actually thought it was a good idea to make that? And who's that movie for? It's a, but they think, oh, they spent these boring movies or whatever, and it'll get Oscar talk. I'm like, not if everybody keep falling asleep on it. Because I can't be mad at them trying to peel off a Tropic Thunder. I need to watch it. I do like Tropic Thunder. I know it's on one of the streaming services. I can't remember which one it is. I don't know if it's Peacock or Prime Video, one of them. But I did see it was on one of the streaming services. But I have access to so many streaming services. I can't remember what has what. But and then I started rewatching because I was mad because, I didn't even finish Supernatural because, it's a lot of seasons. It's 15. So they already took it off Netflix, but luckily I have Prime Video, so I just picked up where I left off from Netflix, and now I'm watching the show on Prime. I heard it's also on Peacock, but my Peacock has ads, so I want to watch it on. You said I did like The Housemaid. Yeah, I heard it was good. I want to see it. I heard that Amanda Seyfried was good. What's the other girl? Sydney Sweeney shows her tits because she's now legit. And Brandon Sklenar, I heard, was good in it too. That is a fine ass man. But look, I've been telling you, I want Brandon Sklenar to be Batman so bad. I see Fire and Ass tomorrow. How you think? I think I'm gonna go see. Okay, well, y'all let me know how it is. But I think, and they also said the numbers went up slightly versus last year when the second week sales of the movie, and I think probably it went up because of I think it probably went up because. The first week, they're always assuming, oh, it's going to be sold out. I'm not going to be able to go see the film. Of course, the holiday weekend, a lot of people have time off, so they're able to secure a ticket around that time. And, a lot of times, if I want to see a certain movie, I'll try to find a way to see it opening weekend. But if I can't, I just avoid the social medias, and then I'll just see it the second week because I already know, like, all the people that went to go see it the first weekend, they ain't coming back unless you're one of those repeat offenders. And then I'll just go see it. But normally for me, the way I get around having to deal with big crowds, I go see movies early in the morning because I already know a lot of y'all are at work and a lot of y'all are in school and all this stuff. And my schedule is different. So I can get up and go and watch a movie at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then right after that, go to the gym and then go to work. And people be looking at me like, you be doing all that? Yes, I do. It's like 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Mostly 4 to 5 hours I sleep. And then I'm up working. I watched a movie called Magpie with Daisy Ridley. That movie sounds familiar. She did another straight to DVD or streaming movie, or maybe it did go in the movie for like 5 minutes, but it was called The Cleaner. I thought that was interesting. Her trying to be an action star. I hated 2025 for a number of reasons, but I guess it could have been okay. They said not that gay to watch Wicked in theaters, but shut up. I was like, look, and it took me a lot to watch the first Wicked. I waited until that came out on Peacock. I was like, let me just finally get around to watching it because everybody was talking about it. So the Wicked box office hasn't been that's probably why they were, because I remember wasn't it a long time before they released Wicked? Like Wicked was in theaters before it came out. Because I think you're right, because there really hasn't been a lot of talk about Wicked for Good. I know it was very divisive in regards of like when people was watching it and all that stuff. Oh yeah, it's not a sequel though. It's like it's the second half of the first film. You know what? I'm thinking maybe we could look at Wicked for two, kind of like how we looked at It Chapter 2. Where it's like we loved the first half, but then we got around to the second half. We was like, man. So we like just like we love It Chapter 1 and we like Welcome to Derry. But we don't really acknowledge It Chapter 2. It Chapter 2 is kind of boring. And a little disappointing. Sidebar: the guy that y'all probably already noticed by now, but the guy that played Eddie, the adult Eddie Spaghetti in It Chapter 2, he unalived himself. I think it was like last week. Timothée is the new Tom Cruise, the younger gens. Except don't become a Scientologist. He said, I went to the premiere when you can watch both Wicked films, and part 2 isn't as good as part 1 because of contradictions with the timeline. Plus, we didn't see, a lot of people was mad over the whole Dorothy situation, too. Benson Diamond. Sweet Caroline. Oh, wait, is that him? Is that who's saying that, or is that Barry Manilow? You know, I be getting my queens with the big hair confused. And who's the other one? There's another queen that got big hair, a little brown skin, that's in that kind of music. But I heard they had to make loopholes for legal reasons. And that's one thing I hate about certain films is that they make loopholes and stuff, or they have to change things up because of who owns the rights to which situation. Amanda was the real star of the movie. The husband was cute too. Well, yeah, I did hear that Amanda Bynes was like the best part of the movie. I watched it not too long ago. It's on Paramount Plus. There's also heard Oscar buzz for Amanda for Testament. Really? Because I heard that movie got bad reviews. I have the. Yeah. I don't know if I would want to buy all those. That's a lot of box sets. Does what? Because with Stranger Things, a lot of people saying, and me included, a lot of people saying that the first season of Welcome to Derry basically wipes the floor with the final season of Stranger Things. A lot of people have been underwhelmed about. We'll get into that when we break down that whole Noah Schnapp coming out episode that people are dragging on social media. And it's not, I'm not going to go in windmill on the straight people because it's not really them. It's the gays that are coming out and saying this. So MGM owns the copyrights of Dorothy. There was lots of Yeah, that's the same thing like with Marvel. Remember, at one point, Marvel didn't own a lot of their IPs. They had to sell it off because they were going to go bankrupt. So they had to sell off to all these different studios. Hence why Spider-Man is owned by Sony. The Hulk is owned by Universal. So they have to make these little deals, these co-deals. Did I say Amanda Bynes? I was like, Amanda Seyfried. Well, look. Amanda Bynes is considered crazy, and Amanda Seyfried is playing crazy in The Housemaid. So both Amandas is kind of like they going hand in hand, I guess, right? But anyway, let's get back into the rest of the show. And let's talk about Avengers Doomsday. So after, the other day, the last time we did a show, we talked about the Avengers Doomsday trailer. We talked a bit about that when, the first one with Captain America came out. Oh, sorry, Steve Rogers, because he's not Captain America yet. Remember, he gave up the shield to Sam Wilson. Sidebar, I'm also hearing stories that came out today. They're recasting Danny Ramirez's role in the upcoming season of The Last of Us because of scheduling conflicts. Remember, he was in season 2. So remind me of that scene where that freaking bitch went and killed my Pedro Pascal. And he was up in that scene too. But yeah, so due to scheduling conflicts, he's no longer going to be playing the character he played in that show. So they're going to be recasting the role. It'll be interesting to see what they pick. But yeah, so they already showed that. Then we talked about the teaser with Thor, where he was praying to Odin about, this new responsibility that he has with this kid, love, and all the other things that's been going on with that. And then, we see all the pictures and everything. Well, him kissing her in the bed and him, the prayer and all the other stuff. And then it says that Thor will be back in Avengers Doomsday. The same thing. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. Another whatever video. Was a little underwhelmed, kind of like I was underwhelmed with the previous one. So now we have a third trailer that I did tell y'all the other day that according to Jeff Snyder, the team is going to be coming out, that he said that the third trailer he's hearing is going to be an X-Men trailer with Cyclops, which turned out to be true. Then they said another trailer is supposed to be coming out with the Wakandans and Fantastic Four. I believe all in the same trailer. I don't know what the context of it is, but that is the rumor that's going around. And then they said that a fifth trailer will be the official trailer, which I'm hearing will be dropping. The rumor is, so just take it as a rumor, will be coming out around the Super Bowl. So you'll be able to see the trailer during the Super Bowl, which I think would be smart for them to actually air a full 2.5 minute full-on trailer. 3 minutes, I will say, push it, because you got a lot of characters. So you want to give us as much eye candy to get us hyped as possible. But let me tell you something. When I was reading about what was going on with this, and I'm hearing all the stories regarding this third trailer with X-Men and whatever, I'm like, okay, you want to know something? I'm about to take it back. Because you remember before, I was like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about Avengers Doomsday. And rightfully so, because of all the drama that was going on with the MCU and not really giving us anything noteworthy and memorable post Endgame. Like, we've had a couple of movies here and there, Shang-Chi, Thunderbolts, I liked, a couple of movies that have come out over the years I thoroughly enjoyed, but a lot of them I was kind of like disappointed with. And I don't want to keep reiterating that because I've talked about it ad nauseum on the show. But after hearing this whole thing about X-Men, I'm like, okay, y'all got me sold. I cannot wait for this movie to come out. I'm excited now. I'm still on the fence about the whole Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom, but I need to see him in action before I fully change my mind. But based off of what everybody, from what I've been hearing, they're like, oh no, trust and believe, this movie is going to, it's going to be one of the best movies that we're going to be able to, look, one of the highly anticipated, one of the best movies we're going to be, and we're going to be satisfied as fans come the end of 2026 when this movie comes out. So there was a quote that Magneto, because they show a scene of Magneto and Charles Xavier sitting and playing chess. I think that the school for gifted children, whatever, school's been dismantled, whatever the case is. And Magneto says a line. He goes, "Death comes for us all. That's all I know for sure. The question isn't, are you prepared to die? The question is, who would you be when you close your eyes?" And I'm like, first of all, I need to get that tattooed on my arm, maybe in hieroglyphics or something. But I'm just like, yeah, that's a really good thing, because it's sort of like, yeah, we all die, but it's like, when we die, did we make an impact? Did we do the things that we did to like change not only our lives, but other people that we've encountered over the years? And so when you look at that, it's like, yeah, who would you be when you close your eyes at the end of the day? Did you make some kind of an impact? So I like that line. That's a very biting line. So shout out to whoever wrote that. And then they said, so the third Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer has leaked in its entirety. And if you had any doubts about what the Russo brothers are cooking up, this should help ease your mind. So, in the trailer, they said you get to see ruins of the X-Mansion. The classic Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters sign is shown amid the rubble before we find Professor X and Magneto in the middle of a game of chess. The two old friends place their hands together in a brotherly gesture, and we see Charles Xavier in his classic X wheelchair, like the one in the original X-Men movies, not Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Magneto, meanwhile, appears to have long hair and a beard. Now we're taken to a battlefield where a bloody Cyclops removes his visor and allows his optic blast to shoot into the sky. A Sentinel can be seen walking in the background, hinting that Scott Summers is the last mutant left standing. Now, didn't we have Sentinels in Days of Future Past, which, sidebar, is my all-time favorite X-Men movie? I like all the X-Men. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with all the other X-Men movies. X2, way better than X1, in my opinion. But Days of Future Past, oh my God, that opening sequence still gives me goosebumps. So I love that freaking movie. And I believe there were Sentinels in that film, right? But if we really getting to see like a full showdown of Sentinels and all this other stuff, that's going to be awesome. And from based over this, where they're saying like, yeah, Cyclops is going to battle with a bunch of Sentinels. We'll probably see some mutants get unalived, and it'll be interesting to see who those are. But I'm also hearing that, yeah, they're finally going to make use of Cyclops because Scott's been wasted. If you look at a lot of the other movies that have come out from, we don't even talk about Brett Ratner's problematic ex-abuser ass, and Bryan Singer, they really love giving problematic people jobs. So all the X-Men movies, but excluding Matthew Vaughn. Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner, trash, alleged abusers. And I didn't like the fact that both of them wasted Scott Summers as a character. But I guess if he looked like he was 12 years old and was willing to go to a pool party thrown by, Bryan Singer, he probably would have had a fatter role in the X-Men universe. But I guess because he's a married heterosexual male, that wasn't going to happen. But anyway, so I like the fact that we got the Russos, according to the reports, that are actually going to put his character to use. And we'll actually get to see him really showcase power. Because when you look at Scott, if you read the X-Men comics, he is like one of the most powerful mutants. And the fact that him and Storm just wasted them in the franchise, that just pissed me off about Bryan Singer and the whole X-Men situation. So I'm really hoping, because they ain't say, that Halle Berry is in this movie so we can see her character get some kind of justice too, because I hate the fact that y'all have wasted my girl Storm. Basically having her, like, how is a Jean Grey doing more than her? Especially when it's like holding back water. It's like, hello, Storm is somebody who weathers the storm. She weathers all kinds of things. She is the queen of nature. How you just got her in a goddamn plane trying to fly everybody out of safety at the end of X2, and then you got Jean Grey in the water holding back the water and then let it go and drown her so she becomes the Phoenix. And fuck out of here with that. Do I sound like I'm upset? Anyway, that's me getting in my whole comic book nerd type situation. But anyway, so let's get back into the thing. So then they said they're taken to the battlefield, as I stated before, where a bloody Cyclops removes his visor and allows his optic blast to shoot into the sky. A sentinel could be seen walking in the background, hinting that Scott Summers is the last mutant left standing. Now, hold on, because I want to show y'all the pictures that I had acquired from Twitter. I had to leave it open in case somebody threw it, got rid of them. So yeah, that's one of the pictures. As you can see, that Scott Summers in the classic X-Men suit. You see like the blue and the yellow and all other stuff, and the blast is going up in the sky. It's not a really good shot, but at least we get to see something. So, and then we have this picture of Professor Xavier at the table. With this is based on the description. He's playing chess with Magneto. And then we have another picture of Scott where he's like dirty, the hair is a little muffled. I like James Marsden. I almost said Marsders. And that's for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. James Marsden, I like him. He was in I just saw him, I told you, I saw him a couple of weeks ago at the Knicks game. So, well, no, I think it was a Rangers game actually. I'm confused. It was at one of the games at the Garden. Saw him there. It might have been a Knicks game. The same one where they had the two actors from, I think, the Semi-Turn Pretty kissed on camera. He was at that game where everybody was making a big deal out of that. So yeah. So now, and then the teaser also ends with the X-Men will return in Avengers Doomsday and another countdown to the movie's release next December. Now, between the nostalgia, Cyclops' comic-accurate costume, and the presence of Sentinels, all signs point that to the Russo brothers giving fans exactly what they want from this movie. As for where these scenes fit into Avengers Doomsday, that's up for debate, but all does not appear well in X-Men's reality. It'll be interesting to see how they do this. Like, do we destroy a lot of the old X-Men, and then this is like the start of let's bring in the newer, like much younger cast, where they're trying to do like a soft, like they'll use Avengers Doomsday as a soft reboot for the X-Men. Because maybe you don't know this, but X-Men is one of Kevin Feige's favorite comic book characters. He loves that franchise. So Kevin Feige is not going to let this, go by the wayside and not do these characters justice. So I think he wants to and clearly it's nostalgia bait. So it's a lot of us who grew up on the first three phases of the MCU. Also, X-Men and all this stuff that came out like 20 damn near 30 years ago. So you're trying to draw us in, a lot of the younger kids whose parents raised them up on those movies that I grew up on. We're all going to be in the theater. Yes, it's nostalgia bait, but I always say I don't mind nostalgia bait as long as it's done correctly. And if you're going to sit up in here and tug at my strings and get me in there just so I can feel nostalgic about characters I grew up on, but also have the story go in a direction that's really cool, and entertaining, then I'm here for it. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, he's doing nostalgia, it's corny, whatever. It's like, as long as you find something interesting to do with the characters, then I'm here for it. And I'm looking forward to it. Now that I'm hearing all this, I'm actually looking forward to this movie. We don't need to go into who's going to be starring in Avengers Doomsday because we talked about that till we've been blue in the face. It's like 150 damn characters in this movie. And how they figure out how they all going to fit up in here, that just remains to be seen. I just hope, like, if this movie is 3 hours plus, that is worth the 3 hours. Like, if you're gonna make it about as long as an Avatar movie, just make use of the characters y'all got and make them all fit in where y'all need to fit it in, and not just have them making bona fide cameos. Because I'm gonna be tight if that's what y'all do with that. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Based on this tea that's coming out from the photo still, into the saying that, yeah, there's a sequence where, Cyclops, who was the last mutant standing, because I'm sure that when we see the movie, we'll see who's in the middle of this battle in this X-Men universe. Him fighting Sentinels and all other stuff, and where this story could be going in regards of how Dr. Doom fits in all of this. And I'm really hoping that y'all will include Dr. Doom in the major trailer. If you're not going to do these little teasers, make sure you center him in the trailer if it turns out to be true that you're going to be releasing it around the Super Bowl. Because if you don't put him out there, then that would be a mistake on your part, Disney. Like, you can edge us up, you can edge us a little bit, but if we get to the point of climax and it don't deliver, if we don't have that orgasmic, euphoric situation that happens with all of these little teasers you're purposely leaking to get us buzzing and excited for 2026 December, then it's going to be hell to pay on y'all part, and y'all can't afford that right now. Not with all the drama and the way that the fans have been pretty much disappointed with a lot of y'all rollouts as of late. So this is a do or die type situation on your part. But anyway, so with all that being said, let me know what your overall thoughts on this story are in the comments down below. Let's go into cautiously. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll take that. Cautiously optimistic. I always try to be cautiously optimistic about stuff. I always try not to be so, oh, I hate this thing or I like this thing, unless it's warranted. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, I'm still optimistic that it's going to be a good film, but I'm a little cautious. I don't know if I'm 110% on board. I'm on about 78%. I'll say 78%. I said, oh, come on. Most of the X-Men films, except for 2, kick ass. I include the Wolverine. You like all the Wolverine films? The only Wolverine film I like Logan. That was a great one. I saw that. That's why I met Hugh Jackman. I already told y'all that story, but I was like, I like Logan. I like Deadpool and Wolverine. I even like the second one, the one with what was it? When he goes to Japan. I like that one. I was entertained by it. I hated the first one. And I think it's because I saw a version of it where a lot of the special effects wasn't done. So that kind of took me out of that film. X2 is my favorite. My only disappointment was the lack of lines and screen time Yuriko had. Lady Deathstroke, I love me some Kelly Hu. And she really didn't have a lot to do. She had some great fight sequences, though. So I just said she played one of the crucial roles in Logan's story, and vice versa. Dark Phoenix was terrible. I never got around to watching New Mutants because I remember hearing how bad it was. Days of Future Past is my favorite. I'm curious if they're gonna bring back the old cast with Elliot come back to play Kitty Pryde, or probably find somebody new, because they're not. Because to me, I feel like it would not be fair to have a character come back who's no longer a girl playing the part. Because is she going to put on a wig and like get all the testosterone? I mean, it's not me being shady, but my thing is, like, they were cute enough and they were nice enough to change the gender of her character for that show that was on Netflix, and I stopped watching after the second season because I just thought the show just got stupid. But to have her come in, I say recast the role or just don't have the character in there at all. But I feel like if you are going to bring Kitty Pryde back, recast it, but recast her in the reboot. Don't even bring back, if you're not going to bring back, I don't feel like they need to bring back all the other characters from the previous films. Everybody don't need to be up in there. Just make sure you have like the most prominent. We already know that Mystique is in it. We know Magneto's in it. We know Xavier's in it. We know Cyclops is in it. I don't know if Wolverine is back. He might be. Was X-Men part of the Avengers? This seems to be just tacked on. Well, I think well, a lot of people that's in this, no, I think all of this because if I'm not mistaken, I think all this is leading up to Secret Wars because Secret Wars is after Doomsday. So I think when you bringing up Secret Wars in this whole story, a lot of these characters do come together. Where like Sailor Mermaid is saying there was an X-Men versus the Avengers type story that they did do. So I think this is all leading up to this is like Doomsday is first, and then we have Secret Wars, and so I think that all of this is leading up to the events of what's gonna happen in Secret Wars. Now, as far as like what story they're planning on going with that remains to be seen. Because one thing you have to realize about these superhero films, they don't completely follow everything down to the T when they make the movies. Sometimes everything that works in a comic book don't necessarily work for the film, so they'll take little things and then they'll expand on it. Same thing like I was saying about Batman, where we have Scarlett Johansson coming in. They're saying she's playing Harvey Dent's girl, but she's not just going to be playing some doting girlfriend. There's things of her. She appears in Long Halloween. She appears in other little things, so they can just take little pieces of here, there, and everywhere and put it in a gumbo and make it work for the cinema. So I'm thinking that's probably what will happen with this movie. For Storm, I'm conflicted. I would like Halle Berry to return, but I'm tired of them casting light skin well, she ain't that damn light. To play a dark skinned female character, especially Storm. Well, look, if we're going by bringing back the old cast to pass the torch down to a new cast, however they're going to plan on doing that, because they're not going to have this original cast playing them down the road. I'm sure Kevin Feige does. Well, he does. I'm not going to say I'm sure. He does want to reboot X-Men. I believe he's going to go younger because he wants a new generation to be able to play these characters for about as long as they played these characters. It was almost 30 years. So I think what they're trying to do is a multiverse type of situation where they're going to have the old cast come back in some sort of way, and then who knows how they'll work that out. But I just think if they do have Halle come back, this will be one last ride. But as far as like who they're going to get to play Storm, I've always been saying I want Jodie Turner-Smith to play her. I was even thinking Io Edeberry, but I don't know if they would want to go with her. I seriously don't. Ellen Page replies, no, not the old dead name. I just said she busy being way out in left field. Look, Ellen is now Elliot. They have transitioned to male, and that is where that stays. But I do not think that they'll be even thinking about bringing that character back. And with the original, they will bring the character back, but I don't think with Elliot playing that character. All right, now speaking of MCU, let's get into more MCU news. And let's talk about Black Panther. So Ryan Coogler just did an interview with the Happy Sad Confused podcast. Josh Hartwitz, I was watching some of the clips. I didn't watch the full thing, but I did watch some of the clips. And he was talking about a lot of stuff. He talked about Sinners, which I'm hoping does get a Best Picture nominee, among other things. And he was talking about like how he shot Creed and how he had a monitor. He was up under the boxing ring and all that. Like he was talking a whole bunch of stuff in regards to that. I also didn't realize Ryan Coogler has a stutter. Because when he was talking a lot, it was hard for me to follow along with certain things he said because he was stuttering a lot. But I think like that's not me nitpicking. It was just a notice and something I noticed. So in the interview or whatever, he was talking about like working on Wakanda Forever, which I think a lot of people missed the point with that film. I know a lot of people was like, I like the movie. You should just recast the role and you shouldn't have had to just break. I was like, no, this is not how Black people deal with these type of films. Not a lot of Black superhero movies to begin with. But when we do things, what people need to realize is that Ryan Coogler could not just go and just be like, so Chadwick Boseman died. Let's just recast the role and let's make just a regular superhero movie with a new actor in it. That would not have flown within the community. They would have been like, that's disrespectful. You need to pay homage or whatever the case is. So the movie turned into this whole thing about grief and dealing with that and how Black women step up to the plate when when you're in the throes of something happening and there's grief and all the other stuff going through there. You have to find that way of being resilient within all that. So that's what that story was telling. If it didn't work for some people, I understand that. But when we're talking about culture, specifically Black culture, this is a piece of that world that he had to bring into that film. And those of us who understood it. If white people wasn't liking it because of that whole situation, that's a you problem. It ain't us. So shout out to Come Up a Movie for this story. So they said Chadwick Boseman's star was already on the rise in Hollywood before his standout performance in movies like Captain America, Civil War, and Black Panther. However, the latter set the stage for him to become one of the world's biggest stars, and major award success was almost certainty in his future. Tragically, Boseman's life was cut short after he lost a hard-fought battle with cancer in 2020. The actor's passing sent shockwaves across the world and left Marvel Studios without a T'Challa for its planned Black Panther sequel. The decision was made not to recast the role. Instead, the character died off screen, and Shuri inherited the Black Panther mantle in 2022's Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She will continue playing the hero in Avengers Doomsday, but is expected to soon pass the baton to T'Challa's son, Toussaint, aka T'Challa number 2. Now, talking to Josh Horowitz on his Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, filmmaker Ryan Coogler reflected on his relationship with Boseman, revealing that the actor was too unwell to read his Black Panther 2 script. He said, quote, I finished it and I hit him up to read it. He was too sick to read it, bro. That was kind of how the timing was. He was at a place where it wasn't going to happen. Our relationship was really interesting. He meant a lot to me. I found out after his passing from his family and from his friends how much I meant to him. I wondered if he knew just how much he meant to me. He protected me from a lot, bro. Our relationship was one of a lot of protection, you know? I also wanted to say I was convinced on the toughest days on Panther that I was going to get fired. I would say it all the time. If the actors were taking their time to get out of makeup, I'm like, yo, you got to hurry up or they're going to fire me. One day he took me to the side and was like, yo, stop saying that. I was like, man, I really feel that way. He was like, look at me, bro. I would never let that happen to you. I would not let that happen to you. Looking back, he was always protecting me. So I was like, look, a lot of directors feel that way when they get on set and there's a lot of responsibility on them, especially when you're somebody from like Oakland, California, and you're a person of color. And there's always this thing within Hollywood is like, you have one shot to make that movie, whatever it is. And luckily, Ryan Coogler is one of the rare birds that a lot of the movies that he's done, he's been on the hit side and he's got a lot of respect in the industry. Like I said, with him, Denis Villeneuve, and Christopher Nolan, those are like your trifecta of directors that are really like well respected within the industry and put out a lot of thought-provoking, you know, films, movies that we enjoy, but also gives us a sense of like, it's just a thinking man's movie or whatever the case is. Whether you like him or you don't, that's another story. But that's one of the things I love about Ryan Coogler. And I can totally understand is like when you're in a place, especially like with the MCU and that sort of thing, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. And a lot of people of color aren't afforded opportunities that so many others are afforded if they misstep and have a flop on their hands. So when you've got a lot of this responsibility, especially on a character that a lot of people aren't really familiar with, unless you're a hardcore comic book head, I can totally understand why he's just like, oh yeah, they're gonna fire me, and I don't know how this whole thing is gonna go. Luckily they haven't, and luckily he's about to make a third one, which he did talk about that, and we'll get to that in a second. But I just want to say that. Now he says, one of the strongest people was having his strength and taking. One of the strongest people was having his strength taken from him by this disease. It damaged me, bro, probably irreparably, to be honest with you. But I love that script. I put so much into that version of the movie. I felt like I had gotten to know Chadwick as a performer. I threw a lot of Chad in the first Panther, but I realized I was just scratching the surface. Now I know what he can do. I'm going to push him to the limit. And unfortunately, when he finished writing the script, he wasn't able to get to have that moment again because he was sick. Now, Horowitz asked Coogler if there were any scenes in particular that he'd been excited to shoot in the original version of the sequel. With that, he went on to reveal the movie's scrap plot and what he had planned for T'Challa and his son as they attempted to fend off an invading Namor. He said it was like a 180-page draft chock full of them. The big thing about the script was this thing called the Ritual 8, where when a prince is 8 years old, he has to go spend 8 days in the bush with his father, and amongst those 8 days, they have to go into the bush without any tools. The prince has to listen to everything that is asked of him by his father. But the rule is that for those 8 days, the prince can ask the father any question, and the father has to answer. Now, during the course of those 8 days, Namor launches an attack. He had to deal with somebody who was like insanely dangerous, but because of this ritual, his son had to be like joined at his hip the whole time. He was engaging in negotiations, fights, and his son had to be right there, or he'd have to violate the ritual, which had never been broken. That was what the movie was. With Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I got a chance to make a movie about women. I love that movie so much. And here's the thing, I really love to have seen that version. To see like this whole custom where it's like, yeah, the son has to spend, 8 days in the bush with his dad, and like that whole camaraderie between them. And so then this attack happens, and it's like, regardless of what happens, my son has to be by my side. So you have to see how I negotiate and deal with politics, how I run Wakanda, how I deal with this battle. Would his son have to also engage in fight sequences? And then, of course, there's situations where you got to worry about the possibility of your son being hurt in the midst of all that. That would have been a really good story to explore. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. Who knows? Maybe down the road, if they decide to reboot Black Panther and, they decided to do a whole new thing with a new T'Challa and that sort of thing, then we could see that version be told. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it. So now, in other Black Panther news, Howard also asked Coogler what he's been getting, why he's setting out to prove with the upcoming, what he's setting out to prove with the upcoming Black Panther 3, after all he went through, making the other movies. He says, I'm not making movies to prove anything. I'm telling stories that I want to tell, that I'm obsessed with, that I feel the burning desire to do. Black Panther 3, a movie that I'm incredibly excited about, that's really the truth of it. The opportunity to prove things to myself or prove things about the marketplace now, absolutely. He said, I did enjoy making a movie that was essentially about powerful Black women who were grappling with grief while trying to do incredibly important jobs, and also starring Indigenous American people. I have a good time proving that movie could make $800 million. Absolutely. It brought me great joy to prove that, but that's not why I was making it. I was making it because I had a story that I was obsessed with. I had an opportunity to do things. I learned how to swim from that movie, bro. I've been terrified of the water. I got to live my best James Cameron life. Because, James loved the damn water. I'm 20 feet in the tank with a bunch of Black and Mexican folks swimming around. That was awesome. I did get a chance to move through an inescapable human emotion of grief, and I get to tell that story to my kids. And it's like, yeah, and if you really look at it, Black Panther 3 is also, I think, wait, why am I getting this? I'm getting a notification. Hold on, let me close that. Because I'm like, why am I getting this thing from StreamYard? This is not the time for y'all to be putting that up in there. But anyway, let me get to the story. So I feel like, when they were talking about like everybody was dealing with grief and that sort of thing, I feel like this movie was also Ryan Coogler's way of dealing with losing someone who he connected with on such a deep level, someone like Chadwick Boseman. So this movie was a love letter of him cathartically dealing with that grief that he was dealing with. So seeing him be able to do that in cinematic form, and Marvel letting that, like, being like, yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do. I applaud them for that, for letting him make the movie. And the movie did well anyway. It made close to $1 billion. That's awesome. So we'll see where they go with the third one. So he also went on to say, I got Black Panther 3 on my heart. From the outside looking in, you might say, man, why is this dude making another one of those? Excuse me, that's totally fine. That's totally a question that makes sense. I don't deny that. It's my job as a filmmaker to show why. It's my job to answer that question. Because I think Josh started to apologize at that point. He was like, no, it's a valid question. You can answer, but it's like, yeah. I don't have to prove anything to anybody, because I just make movies because the passion is there and I love making them. But I'm making it because I have a story to tell, and I have to prove, when I make stuff, it's like my job is to show you why, I'm making these movies. It's not about trying to prove to other people. I know I can make a good film. You've seen it numerous times, from Fruitville Station to Sinners. Now, Oscar winner Denzel Washington, who already confirmed that he will star in Black Panther 3, but Coogler continued to play coy when it came to his plans for the actor in the MCU, saying, out of all the 10 billion people on the planet, however many billion we are, I'm going to be the happiest one. He said of how it would feel to direct Washington. I'm going to try to write him a good part. So we don't know what's going on with Black Panther 3, what the story is. I definitely trust that Ryan Coogler is going to deliver something awesome. We'll see if there's also a what's the word? That with Black Panther 3, well, not Black Panther, with Avengers Doomsday, some of the, Wakandans are going to appear in the film. So maybe there's something within there that is going to be a precursor to what we could expect in Black Panther 3. So I'm sure, like, the way I'm looking at it now, I really feel like Avengers Doomsday and possibly Secret Wars are the breadcrumbs, the seeds that they're going to be planting to let us know. I don't even know what phase we're in at this point. What's the next phase in the MCU? So, yeah, so we don't know what's going on with Black Panther 3, but I'm curious to find out what that is. I'm looking forward to Doomsday. I'm looking forward to Secret Wars. Still cautiously optimistic about it, but I am excited to see these films because I'm a superhero fan. And so, yeah, so like I said before, it's most likely that there will be a, the torch will be passed, and they will go and we'll see an adult version of Toussaint, little T'Challa will be the new Black Panther. Because no shade, I understand that Shuri becomes Black Panther in the comics. I'm just not buying Letitia Wright as Black Panther, and I'm just saying, because it literally looks like just some flat, skinny, emaciated child in a damn costume trying to convince us they're a damn superhero. So no, it ain't working for me. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Ryan Coogler had to say about Black Panther, and also writing a part for Denzel, because Denzel let us spill that he's going to be in the movie. He's spilled that a while ago. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding all of this. So let me know what your overall thoughts are in the comments down below. Please, Black Panther and Doctor Strange are my faves. I did like Black Panther. I mean, Doctor Strange. I like the first one. The Multiverse of Madness I didn't particularly care for. These lame Black Panther movies would have never been made if the actor would have never passed away. Huh? That doesn't make sense. You said they would have never been made if the actor would have never passed away. They made the first one. The first one made $1 billion. The second one, yeah, he passed away because he was sick. It made over 800 million. So I don't get this post. The American Film Institute's top 10 is out. Coolest film made that list. And some people will be saying, "Oh, y'all only putting that on there because all the other sites was ignoring Black Panther and they didn't want to get that smoke." So it's like, damn if you do it, damn if you don't. If you like the film and put Sinners in your top 10, you're only doing it because you don't want backlash. But then if you don't put in your list, you're a racist. So which one is it? I am confused. So it's like, damn if you do it, damn if you don't. Okay, so now let's get into our final MCU conversation or post or video, whatever story. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Our final MCU story. Let's get into that. And let's talk about Jordan Peele. So there's a story floating around because apparently Jordan Peele came out and said that he is having talks with the MCU to make a superhero or direct a superhero film. Well, quiet as kept, he could probably use a hit at this point, because the only movie I like that has come from Jordan Peele is Get Out. I didn't particularly care for Us. Us was all right. The Peter Nyong'o, I liked her in it, but it was just like the movie M'Baku, I liked him, but the movie just didn't do it for me. And nope, I had moments of the movie that I liked. I just didn't like the film as a whole. I'm still confused with what the hell that film. What was that? A jellyfish that was eating people? Like, I'm confused. So Jordan Peele, I understand you be trying to do all the. I feel like you're trying to. He's in his whole M. Night Shyamalan bag, where it's like, oh, you had that one movie that put you on the map, and you were able to come up with this really cool concept, and then we lived for the twists and turns and everything that was going on up in it. And so now, because that movie was successful, you felt like, let's try to duplicate that success and keep making movies similar to that. Only your other films post that film didn't live up to the hype of that big hit that you had. So that's kind of like what I was feeling about the whole situation. But now the rumors are swirling that they think that Jordan Peele could be directing this long overdue Blade movie. So over the weekend, Daniel Rickman, aka Daniel RPK, reported that Marvel Studios is eager to have Get Out, Us, and Nope director Jordan Peele helm a future Marvel Studio movie. It was a familiar rumor, as was previously heard, that the filmmaker had been on the studio's radar for his X-Men reboot. But then you already heard that Jake Schreier, who's directed Thunderbolts, has been hired to direct the X-Men reboot. So now the story gained a little traction on social media, but appears this could be closer to happening than we realize. Peele's production company, Monkey Paw Productions, has shared the rumor along with a eye emoji that certainly seems to suggest there's something to this. Whatever movie or TV show Peele may be in line for the MCU, he would likely write, direct, and have a decent amount of creative control. The most popular question on social media right now is Blade, a movie that Marvel Studios has repeatedly tried and failed to get off the ground. Midnight Suns is another possibility, while we've also seen some speculation about Peele doing something with the Hulk. Peele has never really had much to say about Marvel or superheroes in interviews. Beyond his impressive list of acting credits, he's largely known for his work behind the camera in the horror realm, hence the excitement surrounding his potentially taking charge of the Blade reboot starring Mahershala Ali. At the San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige brought out Ali and announced a new Blade movie, and of course, was still waiting since 2019 for this Blade movie to go off the ground. They can't figure out what the hell they're doing over here, which is why I think was the overall issue that caused the distrust in people with the MCU, because here y'all are announcing things, looking like y'all got a whole slate of things coming, and then you're either moving things down the line, you're coming up with release dates and then moving them, which they did with Doomsday and Secret Wars, because there's no way in hell you're gonna be able to shoot two movies in a short amount of time and have them out within a 6-month radius. Like that was not going to work. Not in 2026. So they had to move the goalposts in regards to that. And plus there was movies y'all were releasing that weren't really doing all that well. So you've burned the trust of a lot of the fans that were highly invested in y'all since the beginning. And now this whole thing with Blade, they haven't figured out what to do with this film. And even the cast, like even Mia Goth, so many others have said, like, we don't know what's going on with this franchise. We haven't heard anything. So the movies were supposed to, and they moved the date so many times for Blade. Remember, it was supposed to come out November 3rd, 2023. Then they moved it to September 6th, 2024. And then it was supposed to come out February 14th, 2025. And then it was supposed to come out last month, November 7th. Didn't happen. And so now it was removed altogether. They've been going back to the drawing board. Even Dave Goyer, who wrote all three movies, directed the third one. I ain't even gonna go there. But he did those movies and he even volunteered. He was like, I'll come on and I'll help y'all out if y'all struggling. And they haven't called. So apparently they know what they're doing over there. As I side-eyed that last comment I just made. They know what they're doing over there. But I don't know what's going on at this point. Now, the thing is this. Would someone like a Jordan Peele be a perfect fit for a Blade movie? Is he good at shooting action? Like, can you do can you shoot fight choreography with okay? Maybe he'll bring in a team of people that knows how to shoot all that stuff, and they'll figure it out in editing. It's kind of like with Guillermo del Toro when he told about Blade 2. I think he told on a Happy Sad Confused podcast, if I'm not mistaken. And he basically told me, he was like, yeah, I know how to write horror. I know how to direct action, all this stuff. But as far as like the cool stuff and the music and all this stuff, I had to bring people in that knew how to do that. So it could be a collaborative effort. If people know, you bring them the best people that know how to shoot and stuff. Have 8711 people come in do the stunts or whatever the case is. And what they were saying is that they didn't just want to put him in a leather outfit and have him killing vampires. Well, that's kind of what we want. But there needs to be some substance as well. Like you could do the whole we get to see him beating up vampires and killing them and all the other stuff. We get to see all the special effects regarding how they turn to dust or whatever the case is. Because, technology has come a long way since. But we also want depth. So why not just sort of take more of a John Wick approach? Really cool action sequences, but we get to see this underworld of the politics. How does the politics work in the vampire world versus the human world and all the other stuff and things that's going on with that. So it's like the vampire gangsters, and you have vampire politicians and all these other officials that goes on and build from that. And it's like world build on top of give us cool fight sequences and things. That's all you got to do. We don't want rocket science. We don't want Shakespeare when it comes to Blade. We want a good Blade movie, of course, but just world build on top of giving us cool action stuff. So I don't understand, like, how is it so hard to crack the code of making a Blade movie? But if there was anything, I don't know. If he doesn't do a Blade film, I mean, I wouldn't mind him doing an Incredible Hulk movie or whatever the case is. But it'd be relatively interesting to see what kind of part that what type of role he's going to take on if this story turns out to be true. It's like, yeah, Daniel RPK does get some good scoops, but he's not always accurate with everything. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong. But of course, at the end of the day, he's human. So everybody's not going to always get it right all the time. But so we'll just peg this as a rumor in the meantime. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? What would you like to see Jordan Peele, if this story turns out to be true, that he's looking to direct a film within the MCU? What type of superhero film would you like to see him take on? I honestly do want to see a Black person direct a Blade movie, because you could bring really those Blade isms, especially when you're talking about a Black man leading a superhero film where he's killing vampires and how that whole works in that world or whatever. And that element of cool or whatever. I would like to see him take that on. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Not a capable director. He said if he has a passion for the material. That's what we want, is somebody who has passion for the material. You said gross, they suck. Monkey paw would ruin Blade. Well, a lot of people out here don't particularly like Jordan Peele stuff. And you know what? I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but so far the only movie I've liked from him is Get Out. And we've seen that Monkey Paw has produced some things. He produced Him. Him was not a good movie. Him sound like I'm not even speaking proper English. Him was not a good movie, but the name of the movie was Him. It's on Peacock if y'all want to watch it, if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, I like looking at Tyreek, but that's about it. But if I really want to look at him, I could just watch him, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Anyway, okay, so now that we got all the drama conflama out the way in regards to the movie stuff, let's get into some gossip. Let's talk about Madea and the fact that Madea being messy. I think Madea tired of hiding in the closet, and now she want to let her freak flag fly. And all these lawsuits is the end result of the freakiness. So the other day we did break the news on the show, because I was on a live when this story broke about Tyler Perry getting hit by a second person for SA, inappropriate conduct, or whatever. Okay, Tyler Perry shitting where he eating, and which is at the job. Where Derek Dixon hit him with over a $200 million lawsuit. This young man, Mario, is hitting him with a what do you call it? He's hitting him with a $77 million lawsuit. So let's get into that story, and then I got clips and things that we're gonna get to with this whole situation. So Mario Rodriguez, who had an acting role in Boo, a Madea Halloween movie I haven't seen, by the way, because I don't particularly care for them Chitlin Circuit movies, allegedly contacted Perry in August to say he was struggling financially amid unspecified health issues. Because here's the thing, now everybody was, oh, here y'all go trying to take another black man down. It was like, well, wait a minute, if said black man with said money wasn't out here doing inappropriate stuff, there would be no reason to try to take a black man down. And there's a lot of black wealthy people that haven't been taken down. But anytime y'all want to come up in here with that narrative, y'all get on my root canal nerve with that narrative. And then, y'all trying to take a black man down. Well, if said black man wasn't being messy, what would we need to take him down for? So yeah. Speaking of which, I got receipts. So I do got the text messages. Hold on as I pull those up. Because, y'all be acting like people just be pulling stuff out their ass. But I was like, nope. I come with a receipt. So yeah, so there's one of the texts. He said, "Brother, where art thou?" No, brother, haven't been feeling okay, confused and a little nauseous. I got blood work, thinks it's my teeth. I know it's none of your business. IDK, what do I know? I promise you, where are the punctuations up in here? I promise you, I would never ask you for anything, but if it is what I think it is, I don't think I could do it on my own because I barely pay my bills. Or is he trying to say I could barely pay my bills? Because I'm like, you don't pay your bills. Well, how you paying? How you surviving if you're not paying your bills? But I think he was saying like, I can barely pay my bills because at one point Mario, before he was discovered by Tyler Perry, because remember the first one he discovered Derek Dixon, he was a cater waiter. And now he was using the cater waiting facility as his personal little OnlyFans playground, like his little grinder situation, like how he trying to pluck young men from obscurity and promising them things just for a little rub and tug. And that's what it was coming across. That's what Derek Dixon was saying. And now is with this young man, Mario, he want to get a little rub and tug by promising him, oh, you ain't ever got to worry about your financial situation. And my thing is this, if somebody goes and lays down the groundwork and says, well, you don't ever have to worry about finances and all this other stuff, and then you trying to say it's a money grab, well, you giving me permission to grab your money if you're offering to pay for certain things. So I can't have the money. And now that the money is drying up and you're not keeping up your end of the bargain, I'm trying to hit you up via text message with sidebar. Why is nobody questioning the fact of how this been? This is second person that got Tyler's personal phone number. Now, if I'm a person who's a mogul and running my own empire, none of you bitches will have my number. You're going through my assistant. So if you need to get whatever needs to be done or whatever the case is, you have your people call my people and we'll deal with it. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. I'm not giving you my number. There's people I'm close to barely have my fucking number. So I'm going to give it to some stranger unless we fucking, which hence this is all coming up in this situation. So I found that weird. Nobody's bringing that part up. But it's a money grab, right? But how he get the personal number when you an employee? First of all, you was what? Extra number 10 in Boo? Like you was background material. How background material get the number? But I was gonna say Taraji probably never got the number. What she do? She gotta have the number because she was the only one that was getting a real salary from working with Tyler. And if y'all notice, and shout out to Rob Shooter for this, he pointed out also that with all this going on, if this was not true and his lawyers are doing what needs to be done, because they're on the payroll, so of course they're gonna try to clean up whatever the case is and be like, yeah, this is a money grab, blah 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 blah. Where's Oprah? She real quiet. Where's Whoopi? And Whoopi defends the worst of the worst. We've seen that happen over the years with her on The View. She's far more problematic people she's defended on that damn show. And she got a studio named after her. Where's Meghan Markle? And I can't deal with her and that husband of hers. Well, the husband I'm not that irritated by. Meghan Markle irritates my entire spirit. Who's the other one that be all team Pastor Perry? Where's Swallowed? Where's TD Jakes at? You real quiet. I was gonna say where Diddy in jail, so he can't talk. So all these people that's supposed to be in his corner, his friends or whatever, where y'all at? Why y'all quiet all of a sudden? Yeah, Oprah, Gail. Then Gail just defends somebody who was problematic not too long ago. She real quiet today. But we'll get to that article where Rob Shooter to his A-list friends haven't been talking. Who he said? He said, yeah, Prince Harry, we haven't heard from them. We haven't heard from Oprah. We haven't heard from the Obamas. So where y'all at? Y'all be so quick to come out with the public support. Y'all quiet today. Quieter than a church mouse. So that's one of the texts that you see there. Then we got the other one. And he said, just know that I love you and I thank you for everything. I appreciate you to the moon. I got my Mexican ass. Oh, you got my Mexican ass. Oh, I didn't know he was Mexican. Tyler got a type. You got my Mexican ass out of a lot of bad places, and I just want to tell you thank you. I can't buy you anything, but I just want to tell you, well, yeah, because when you're a billionaire, you got everything, especially when you don't be paying people for nothing. Writers, people that work behind the scenes. You got people wearing them old $2 wigs from Shein, and they was dragging your ass over that. When you don't want to pay nobody because you want to hoard all the coins for yourself, when you get the man that has it all, The only thing you can give him is your pussy or a little rub and tug, which he was trying to get. And two things can be true at the same time. People need to realize this. It's like, yeah, maybe it is a money grab. And there are a lot of men out here who are gay for pay, where it's like, yeah, they work as personal trainers, whatever the case is, but a lot of them have OFs on the side, or a lot of them are into sex work, or whatever the case is, and are willing to go along and do whatever so that way they can be taken care of, because a lot of these men who are not comfortable within their sexuality live their truth and live their life, and people like, they'll take advantage of whoever, however they want to get it. And I know that some people be like, but Tyler can get anybody he wants in the world. That's not what gets some men off. It's not about, they know they can get access to any piece of ass under the sun, especially when you got the money to be able to buy it. Because quiet as it's kept, Tyler ain't getting that shit if he was Joe Schmo from down the street. You got to pay for the pussy in order to get some. Since you was out here claiming you was a top when you was having that conversation. Well, it's not even alleged. We read it with Derek Dixon. So yeah, you gotta, it's not enough when you can, it's like, yeah, I have access to all the most beautiful men in the world, but it's more fun for me if I could go after the type of dudes that ain't gonna give me the time of day, that I could use this power to get, of control or power or whatever case. And we don't get into the thing about the whole Goodwill Hunting type of read, or how he would use his sexual abuse trauma in order to go after certain men. So this is a sign of an abused man abusing other men. And yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of men that he's done this with that are probably scared to come out and say something. How many times we talked about on the show Christian Keys with that whole situation with him and the talk around that, and Christian Keys alluding to somebody who's a very powerful person doing whatever, and then threatened to go live with the team, talking sideways the whole situation. We all put two and two together, and whose name that all popped in our heads and out of our mouths? We say allegedly Tyler Perry. And then right after that story went viral, and some of the people that knew the tea was talking about it, but not mentioning the name, but we all kind of knew who it was. Y'all ain't heard from Christian Keys since, right? Because so-and-so got on that phone and hit that Venmo up or that Zelle and gave him that coin. So let's not act obtuse because your favorite is being dragged on the docket. It's being brought before the court, and we see the tea for what it is. Because if y'all out here thinking that Tyler Perry is straight, then I got quite a few mansions in Boca to sell your ass, and I don't work in real estate. So yeah, he said all of that, and I think that's all we got on that for now. But there is this one thing I want to show y'all. So yeah, and then of course, then we had Perry's attorney basically trying to say, I said it before and I will say it again, this is nothing but a $77 million money grab scam. Everything is a damn money grab scam because your client out here being sloppy. And now Rodriguez's attorney, Jonathan Delshad, did not immediately respond to our request for comment. Rodriguez filed his lawsuit against Perry, as y'all know, in LA Superior Court, accusing him of multiple instances of SA. Where was I? Oh, now according to the suit, Rodriguez was approached by a trainer at the Equinox Gym in 2015 about meeting with Perry to discuss a possible acting role as a very good-looking college student in a movie that later became Boo, Madea Halloween. And also, didn't the Boondocks bring this up about Tyler Perry, where he had all the muscle queens them muscle dudes standing behind him, and he was doing the casting, and you saw this old man with his gut all out, and he was auditioning for him, but he was surrounded by all these half-naked men. Boondocks been telling it. Boondocks as well as South Park. Those are the two animated shows that always be telling the tea. And y'all always thought like, oh, it was just jokes. No, trust and believe, Hollywood is this big. And the words be wording in the circle. And y'all just now hearing about it. But there's always been word around Tyler Perry in this industry, allegedly, for years. I love that word allegedly. For obvious reasons. So now, after auditioning for and accepting a part, and you already know, like, some of them actors, when y'all look at them, they be fine as hell, right? But couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. I wonder why. And if you're really thinking about it, it's like, money grab for what? Like, Tyler Perry, you ain't making people dreams come true. Yeah, you're making dreams come true in your little circle. But my thing is this. I measure my career. Can I go from a Tyler Perry movie and actually go and do a Jordan Peele movie or a Ryan Coogler movie or star in a movie directed by, Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan? Can I go from him to them? Because that's when you know you've made it. Not when you're doing some damn Chitlin Circuit film that cost $12 million to make and it was only shot in 2 days. And you could tell by the choppy ass editing, the bad writing, and the shitty acting how much energy and work went into the old Chitlin Circuit movies that y'all like. So now, auditioning for and accepting the part, Rodriguez was allegedly invited to Perry's LA home to have drinks and watch a movie in his theater. Perry allegedly put his hands on Mr. Rodriguez's legs and began rubbing his inner thigh next to his finger, Rodriguez alleged, claiming that after he rejected the advances, Perry said to him, "Man, if you would just come." I don't know if he meant C-O-M-E or C-U-M, but they said come. "I would take care of you for the rest of your life and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. I know you'll come around." So you're basically using this whole situation. You creating a casting couch in your house. You're promising this guy that if you just let me do things, if you let me play with your dick, if you let me, do all kinds of whatever, because I can't come to terms with being a whole rhymes with maggot because of the type of empire that I built on the backs of the church community who don't see it for the gays, number one. And so now I gotta play up this whole situation because I can't piss them off. But Tyler, you need to learn this. They already know. Just like everybody knows Will's a whole rhymes with maggot. just how everybody's like, we already know. You don't have to come out. Child, they know. I can tell you there's a lot of people within my family who are church-going people. They know, child. They know you a full-on woman. They know you a queen. Not a butch queen, but a queen. You're not fooling nobody. I don't care how many times you put on that wig and that ugly ass sundress and start with your little one-liners and throw Jesus out there. They know. You ain't fooling nobody. You've been clocked. Like your soul. So, so there's that. So now, once filming for a Boo Medill Halloween wrapped in 2016, Perry allegedly invited Rodriguez to his home to discuss other acting opportunities. According to the suit, Perry allegedly grabbed Rodriguez's left leg along his finger, after which Rodriguez left. Now, in 2018, Perry allegedly invited Rodriguez to Maestro's Steakhouse in Beverly Hills to discuss a role in his series, The Oval. That Oval show was really popular. I wonder how many other men he was accosting on that show. Because remember, Derek Dixon was from The Oval, where he did a whole lot of episodes. And then I guess when he no longer wanted to comply with the situation, that's when the lawsuits came in. So this is what happens when you shit where y'all lead. When y'all be up in there doing the thing and you trying to use your little job as your little casting couch, this is what happens. And you promising these men the world. If you would just let me whatever, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. You're using money to be able to do whatever you want with these men. And then when the money dries up, when you stop paying for the ass, because that's clearly what you're doing. That's the only way you getting these Derek Dixons and these Mario Rodriguez. And there's no shade. Let's just call it what it is. So you using your money as a way to get these men. And then you mad because because once the money dries up and they're like, okay, well, I'm struggling here. I'm gonna let you do whatever I want. And I'm sure there's some stuff in the middle where he probably allowed it. Not saying that it was intentional, whatever the case is. I mean, who knows? But if you throwing the money out there, and I realize that this is the biggest opportunity, I'm not really getting no roles, but okay, I'll let him rub and tug on a little bit, and he's throwing money in my direction. He gave me $5,000 here and the money a little there, and I just use that towards whatever I got to do, and I can survive for a couple of months on however much money he makes. There's a lot of people that do that, whether it's in the studio or a regular damn job where they bosses be doing whatever, and when that shit dries up and y'all don't want to do what needs to be done, and if you're not going to give me what I've been letting you do and you're not holding up your end of the bargain, I'm taking your ass to court. And so I'm going to hit you with the $70-something million. And people are like, why are they talking about it now? Why are you asking for this much? Why the fuck not? Pay me for my pain. Like, it goes both ways. So you owe it. And this is what irritates my people. Stop protecting predators. They'll always be so quick to jump on the side of the predator. Like, are people fucked up in the brain? Like, whatever happened? I think it's all that goddamn lead that y'all was inhaling over the years of y'all growing up. That's why a lot of y'all lack actual common sense. So yeah, this is all the stuff that's going on right now. But one of the things I do want to get to, let me play Mario's video, like his thing of what he said. And then we're gonna play this thing from what do I have? From Law and Crime. Oh, let me tell you, I gagged when I was listening to that, and I'm gonna change the speed because I don't want to be here all day with that because it's like 23 minutes, so maybe we'll be able to cut it in half with the amount of speed. But this play goes, and I might have to pause in between, so don't get mad when I get around to that. So I may have to pause in between, you know, to give my commentary. But let's hear what Mara had to say via his Instagram, and this is before he even admitted that it was Pastor Perry that touched the ding-a-ling without his permission. Or maybe it was his permission, but it's like, we said what we said before. But let's play the clip and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Hello, everyone. Just checking in with you guys about the news that I mentioned a couple days ago. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about sexual assault and harassment and why the people stay silent. For a long time, guys, I didn't want to say anything, and I wanted to tell you guys why I didn't want to say anything. But when it happened to me, I felt ashamed. I was scared because of the judgment and the questions that people were going to start asking, almost like they were going to blame me for just being there. Well, I felt all of that, guys, when a very big director, a very seriously powerful person that everybody knows, invited me over to his house to talk about roles and upcoming things that he was writing. I was telling myself, like, man, like all of my dreams are coming true right now. Like my opportunities at my front door right now. So much excitement going through my body. And then, guys, it happens. My boundaries were crossed. You feel like this person feels like they got power over you because of the situation and the opportunity that presented itself in front of you. And then and how fear can somewhat keep you quiet and keep you silent. Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. And I just want to say I'm really sorry, man, because if I would have spoken up sooner, I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me. I just want to say sorry for that, whoever that may be. It could have stopped with me if I would have said something. But I do apologize, and I'm speaking up now and getting it out there and talking about it, most importantly, then so be it.
Well, look, Derek Dixon came out and said what he had to say first, and maybe that was the courage that you had to be able to say what you need to say. And you said it on December 13th, and then maybe a week or two later is when your story came out. But of course, you had people jumping in the timeline saying, well, why did you accept 2 payments of $5,000 after being essayed? And then somebody goes and says, in 2014, after you got the part for Boo, you went to his house and he groped you in his theater room. Then in 2016, you again went to his house, touched you again, and you left. Then again, you went to his. So you basically, it sounds like you're victim blaming. That's like you went to his house so many times knowing full and well the things that you was doing. Well, people also need to realize it's not easy being an actor. There's a lot of people that get inappropriately touched, whether it be a Tyler Perry or somebody else. Y'all said the same shit when a lot of these women was coming out against Harvey Weinstein. I'm not saying that what Tyler Perry was doing at the level of a Harvey Weinstein, we don't know because we haven't heard from other victims who have said that he's done way worse. But y'all was still out here, even with Diddy and all this other stuff, knowing all the evidence, all the things he was coming out. There was some of y'all still out here windmilling hard for him. So I don't even have time to be trying to articulate or even break down things for the mentally challenged that sit up in here and always want to defend victims. If that's what you want to do, go somewhere else because I don't want y'all up in here watching this. But if y'all gonna be doing so, with all that being said, maybe there's 2 things that's true at the same time. Maybe it was like, yeah, I saw opportunity. My dream's about to come true. I went and this mogul is like really interested in me and I'm gonna work on whatever we're working on. But then now it's becoming a sexual thing. And who knows? Maybe it's just like, oh, if I don't comply, then he's going to go and run and tell people, don't work with this person because they're difficult to work with. Isn't that the same accusation that Monique said, that Tyler Perry had said about you? I've never worked with that man a day in his life, in my life. And he went around telling people all this other stuff about how I'm difficult to work with because I wouldn't do what needed to be done for Precious. And it's like, I'm not going around doing no shit for free. I got a whole family that I got to feed. And I'm the breadwinner. So my husband is my manager. I got to pay him. I got kids I got to support, but you want me to run around here tap dancing for these motherfuckers for no check, and I got to pay all this out of my pocket. I'm not doing that. So now people have pegged her as difficult, and she's been going on saying so much of the stuff about Tyler Perry over the years, and y'all be telling her give it a rest. But I feel like if you have it within yourself to speak up, speak up. And who knows there may be some things that he's leaving out. Maybe it was a situation where he looked at it as like, you know what? Maybe some people saying this is, squeeze as much juice as you can out the lemon. Yeah, you're not interested in him sexually, but let him touch upon you a little bit, and he'll throw a little money your way, and that'll take care of you for a while. Just go along with it. But of course, if you're doing all that, you'll say, oh, well, you wanted it. You was playing it up. There's a lot of people that do that. But it still don't negate the fact that Tyler out here purposely being predatorial towards other people. You ain't never heard him do that to nobody with a vagina between their legs. You hearing about it with all these men. So that's the funny part for me. So now, without further ado, let's get into this thing because I want y'all to hear all of this. Maybe this will convince you after watching this full-fledged video. I'm using fair use on this. Please don't flag me, law and crime. Because that be happening sometimes with these videos when you're using their stuff. So yeah, I want y'all to hear this. I may be pausing in between if I got to throw in some commentary, but bear with me. So yeah, we'll come back and we'll talk. Okay, please hold.
Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me, but I do apologize. And I'm speaking up now.
Now a second man, model Mario Rodriguez, is suing Tyler Perry, accusing the actor of sexual assault and alleging a disturbing pattern of manipulation. And his lawsuit alleges something deeply specific, that Perry allegedly reenacted a famous Goodwill Hunting therapy scene in order to target him with past trauma. This lawsuit also names Lionsgate, accusing the studio of enabling Perry's alleged behavior. We have the filing. It includes alleged text messages we're seeing for the first time. We have the complaint. We're going to break it all down for you right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Have you ever gotten that call, the one that promises to change your whole life? The big break, the dream opportunity, something you have been waiting for your entire life, right? For one model in Los Angeles, that call reportedly came from a Hollywood billionaire, allegedly promising fame, a movie role, a future, opportunities. But instead, he claims this all turned into a nightmare of manipulation, unwanted advances, and sexual assault over a period of time. Now, the man on the other end of that phone, familiar name if you've been following us here on Sidebar, we're talking about Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, the producer behind Medea, massive entertainment empire. And the person accusing him now is model Mario Rodriguez. He is now suing Tyler Perry. Now, the reason that I say this is because as we go into these shocking claims and the potential legal strength of these claims, I mean, we're talking allegations of sexual assault by Perry, followed by something that I think is going to make your jaw drop. This is not the first time we have talked about Tyler Perry recently. No, we covered Tyler Perry here before, back in June. Another actor, Derek Dixon, filed a $260 million lawsuit in California accusing Perry of essentially quid pro quo sexual harassment and assault. Now, Perry's legal team, they fought back hard. They called it a failed money grab, arguing the case should be thrown out or moved to Georgia. That battle is still playing out, by the way. But now, Perry is facing a second, arguably strikingly similar kind of lawsuit. And that's what we want to go into. Now, this new one was filed just days ago, literally on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025, in California Superior Court. And this is brought, again, by Mario Rodriguez, a model, an actor who had this very small role in Perry's 2016 film called Boo, A Medea Halloween. And this lawsuit doesn't just name Tyler Perry. It also seemingly targets his production company and Lionsgate, the studio that distributes Tyler Perry's film. So accusing them essentially of knowing about his alleged behavior, enabling it, and benefiting from it. So by the way, from a legal point of view, from a lawsuit point of view, you usually go after the entities, as that may be where the money, the assets are for purposes of liability and collection. What are the key allegations? What's the main theme here? Rodriguez claims that Perry used the promise of roles, a Hollywood career, to groom him, make sexual advances, touch him, and sexually abuse him. And the suit describes an alleged pattern of isolating him, prying into past trauma, escalating physical contact, and explicit propositions. But the details in the complaint, they are very, very specific. They are also graphic, and they follow a disturbing script, for lack of a better word.
I just had to pause because I'm like, how the whole time I just realized my lower third wasn't the right one. I was sitting there doing a whole Tyler Perry story, and it was under the Jordan Peele banner. So my fault with that one. It's been a minute. I'm tired. So anyway, let's get back to the. I just had to acknowledge that.
Okay, and that's what we want to go into. We want to go through this story and see if there's a strength to it, strength to these claims, strength to the narrative. So I'm going to walk you through the complaint, basically page by page. And I'm going to read you directly from key sections so you can hear the language that's used. So the document starts by setting the stage. The second paragraph reads, quote, defendant Tyler Perry is a producer-director who wields immense power in the movie industry. Unfortunately, Perry uses his power to abuse and sexually assault people who hope to secure roles in his movies. Perry's type are those who have been victims of childhood traumas in the past. Plaintiff Mario Rodriguez was one of his victims. Now, that's key language because I said at the time, I remember this, when Dixon had filed his lawsuit against Tyler Perry, I wondered, would this lead to more accusers to come forward, right? Was Derek Dixon just a one-off making these allegations, or could this start more people coming forward? It's a two-edged sword when you think about it, right? Perry's position could be, as soon as one person sues, this will open the floodgates for more false accusations. The other side, assuming all the allegations are true, It takes one person to come forward against a wealthy, powerful person for others to feel safe to do so. We've seen this back and forth in a lot of high-profile sexual misconduct cases. And I will say, too, this is important to note, Rodriguez is represented by the same lawyer who brought Derek Dixon's claims. We're talking about Jonathan Delshot. We'll get more on that a little bit later. But the core allegation is established immediately. We're talking about an abuse of power targeting vulnerable people. Now, how did Rodriguez enter into Perry's orbit, right? Let's start there. So the complaint says that in 2015, a trainer at an Equinox gym out in Los Angeles approached Rodriguez and told him, quote, that defendant Tyler Perry wanted to meet Mr. Rodriguez and to talk about offering him an acting role. And the complaint alleges that Perry called him that same day. The filing allegedly quotes Perry from that call, saying about the potential role, quote, you know, Mario, I'm not a bad person to know and have in your corner. And the suit states that Rodriguez auditions, quickly gets the part. It reads, clearly the audition was only a formality given Mr. Perry's position of power and his personal desire to have Mr. Rodriguez work for him. Okay, let's stop right there. So first, if Rodriguez can establish that Perry called him and that this person approached him at Equinox, so you wonder if that person would testify if they're available, that would be key. It does become a question, how does Rodriguez remember, essentially verbatim, what Perry had said? Did he document it in some way? This call is probably not recorded. But an argument could be, you know, it's unusual for Tyler Perry to set all this up, have a communication with a minor player in a film. Usually a casting director or a producer would handle that. But I don't know, maybe there's an argument that this is Perry's style. He has ownership on all aspects. He wants to speak to everybody that's involved in the cast. The other way to look at it is this is unusual. And Perry targeted Rodriguez and only got him the part for his own personal reasons. Now, how can they establish the phone call other than through the testimony of Rodriguez? Maybe there's phone records, but obviously it wouldn't be a printout of their conversation. It would rather be just this call took place at that time. But again, we're talking about, 10 years ago. So then the complaint describes things escalating during this solo visit that Rodriguez made to Perry's Los Angeles home. This is key. Now, Rodriguez makes clear that while all of this is going on, he's just really excited for this acting opportunity and to be working with Tyler Perry. So anyway, he allegedly goes over. They have drinks. They go to Tyler Perry's theater room. Now, first, the complaint details this instruction from Perry. He allegedly told Mr. Rodriguez to keep his cell phone in the kitchen because, quote, there are cameras everywhere and they're always listening. By the way, if there really are cameras in his house, is that something that could be obtained through discovery and you can have him on camera saying that? I don't know. In the theater, this is important. The suit alleges that Perry began asking deeply personal questions about Rodriguez's childhood and traumas, and Rodriguez became emotional. The suit alleges, quote, Mr. Perry told him, you have a lot of trauma in you, and believe it or not, we have a lot in common. Mr. Perry told Mr. Rodriguez to stand up and said, come here, man, let me hug you. Mr. Perry hugged Mr. Rodriguez and said, it's not your fault. Now listen to this, quote, in the moment, Mr. Rodriguez could not help but feel that Mr. Perry was trying to reenact the famous scene between Matt Damon and Robin Williams from the acclaimed 1997 movie Good Will Hunting. Now, if you haven't seen Good Will Hunting, first of all, you should. It's a great movie. But if you haven't, it's a very famous therapy scene where Robin Williams' character repeatedly tells Matt Damon's character who had been abused in the past that it's not your fault, pulling him into a hug. There's a really big emotional breakdown. And it's meant to be this moment of deep vulnerability and release, which is why you're having this alleged comparison. It stands out. And I will say that level of unique specificity, that can arguably help with credibility if this goes to trial and Rodriguez takes the stand. It's like so strange and so specific. Could he really make this up? Maybe, maybe not. But you go from there. The complaint describes this encounter taking a turn. This is when, according to Rodriguez, it turns physically invasive, with Perry then allegedly rubbing Rodriguez's shoulders and his chest and making comments. And when Rodriguez sits back down, he claims that Perry sat next to him and began rubbing his inner thigh. Now, Rodriguez claims that he then got up and excused himself, but the suit quotes, or allegedly quotes, Perry as being persistent, saying, just relax. I promise I'm a good guy to know and have in your corner. You just need to relax and stop being so tense. Man, if you just come, I would take care of you for the rest of your life and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I know you'll come around. Now, he claims that he ultimately left Perry's house, went home, but what happens next? So he says he goes to Atlanta to film in January 2016. And he says that Perry never sexually assaulted him or attacked him on set, which, by the way, also potentially goes to an issue of credibility, right? For someone who may be questioning Rodriguez and questioning if this is true, you could argue, well, if he's claiming that he was assaulted by Tyler Perry, wouldn't he want to embellish every detail he can? But to say that it started only at this house with his leg being touched, nothing further happening, that nothing happened on set, does it help with credibility, right? Maybe. Now, after the film wrapped, this is when Rodriguez accuses Perry of allegedly continuing to invite Rodriguez over, saying how he might be a good fit for future roles that he's writing. Now, Rodriguez claims that during these visits, they would talk about work, but then also personal things. And from here, he claims that Perry allegedly made sexual comments to him and even asked if he had sex with another man. And then, when Rodriguez apparently said that he was having a baby with his girlfriend, and that Perry allegedly sensed how stressed out Rodriguez was about his financial situation, Perry allegedly said, quote, if you would just give in to me, I would take care of you. You would never have to worry about anything again.
So there you have it with that. Now I'm going to play the rest of it, but he's saying like, well, you understood he was in a financial bind. He was struggling. He was confiding in Tyler because of what was going on in his personal life, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. So now this is how predators work. When they hear like people are down on their situation or there's stuff going on in their personal life, it's like, well, yeah, you got the money and the wherewithal to be able to buy whatever it is you need to buy. And so now you're looking at this situation. It's like, oh yeah, well, if you just give it and let me, or do a little rub and tug, y'all know I have to get a little creative with you too. Do a little yum yum bouncy bouncy, or a little slurpy slurpy, or whatever the case is. If you know, a sloppy toppy, whatever the hell you want to call it. If you just give in and let me do whatever I need to do, just so I can get my rocks off, and then of course kneel on some rice and pray to Jesus for forgiveness, because it's so wrong being homosexual. I can't be a full-on homosexual, so I gotta pray the gay away, which quiet as it's kept, we all know that's impossible. You know, gay is what it is. If people got a problem accepting the fact because they said the Bible said, child by. First of all, homosexuality existed long before speech replaced sign language and before that book was written by man. So, yeah, definitely a baloney wash. Other than my theme song. And so I believe everything that has been going on with him, just like I believe what's going on with Derek, and I believe it will happen with Christian. But only time will tell whether all this, you know, whatever happens. But yeah, I just want to play. I wanted to say that before I get back to the clip or the video, because it is a long one. We got about, how long is it? Oh, we 12 minutes in. So we got about another 10, 11 minutes before it's done. So, but yeah, so you were trying to use somebody's hardship as a way to get something for you out of a situation, and the man is not interested. But now him taking the money, that's what he's going to have to explain that when he gets before a judge. They're going to have to defend that if it goes to court, which I don't think it will. I'm having a strange feeling Tyler going to end up settling, and it is what it is, kind of like he said it with Christian, allegedly. But let's get back to the clip, and then we'll come back.
Side note, we don't know if this actually happened. The counter argument to this would be, Tyler Perry really said that in that specific language that could help your legal claims? Maybe, maybe not. Again, it's all going to come down to credibility and how can they back it up. But Perry also allegedly shared, and this is important, that he himself, quote, was sexually molested as a kid. And the complaint argues that he was using that shared trauma as a tactic to build trust before making more sexual advances. And then he claims that Tyler Perry sexually assaulted him, like allegedly grabbing his leg right by his private area and allegedly saying, it's all right. Now, there is no way to truly corroborate that unless there are cameras in the home or it's just the testimony of Rodriguez. This is not like a rape case, right, where you're talking about maybe DNA or forensics, even though that might be difficult from such a long time ago. But this is really, again, a question of credibility. Now, this is the next part. When Rodriguez claims that he refused these alleged sexual advances, he claims all the acting roles dried up. The suit states plainly, quote, because Mr. Rodriguez continually rejected Mr. Perry's sexual advances and assaults, Mr. Perry never hired him for Medea's Halloween 2, despite all their conversations for new roles for Rodriguez. Then we...
Which goes to explain why he probably went along in a situation, why a lot of actors go along with assaults and stuff that happens on set, because if they say no, like I said before, you can be blacklisted. He could be like, oh, I don't want to work with this guy ever again. I'm not going to give you no parts. If you go out and try to audition for other people, Hollywood is, like I said, this big. So he can go around and make phone calls and say, oh, so-and-so is difficult to work with. Now, knowing full on well, you was the perpetrator in the beginning. My career's dried up. I can't get a job nowhere. And now I got to go and get a job at Whole Foods or whatever the case is to make ends meet. And I'm still struggling. So my dream, I wanted to come true. And I'm out here trying to pursue a career and a passion. But now it's been destroyed because some pervert can't come to terms that they like dick. And so because I'm not giving you what you want, now you want to ruin my damn career because you an asshole. And they like throwing the whole Jesus and God and all. You know what? There's a special place if this is true, there's a special place in hell for people like him. And they be the main ones, the ones that run up in them Christian circles. They be the biggest goddamn hypocrite. First of all, I didn't even know there was a part 2. Was there ever a part 2? Child, he ain't coming out. He's banked too much on that empire for him to ever come back. Although, like I said, a lot of people he think that don't know. So you just wasted your damn time. But I just want to say that. So yeah, the roles drive. So when people say, why did you do it? Why? It's been explained. But of course, you're going to find some people that are going to bend themselves into some goddamn origami and still try to act like they don't get it. Even when the evidence has been sprayed out before you in front of an actual legal person who is breaking it all down for you in this video. This is why I'm playing this, because whereas I feel like I broke it down enough, like the Cliff Notes or whatever, but somebody who actually understands law and legality or something, and I watch a lot of law stuff. That's how I'll be making sense of like trying to articulate it. But I wanted an actual attorney to be able to come up here and from this video be able to break it on down for y'all to understand the legality behind all of it. But anyway, let's get back to the
Go to
video.
this key moment, this key incident that allegedly happened. It's talked about in the complaint that allegedly happened in November of 2018. So after a dinner where Perry allegedly discussed a role for Rodriguez in the Oval show, the Oval series. By the way, Rodriguez said that he was reluctant to go to this dinner in the first place, but thought, you know what, this is a restaurant, it's a public place. He was thinking of his career. And that's important because if Rodriguez takes this to trial and is cross-examined by Perry's attorney about, you claim you're sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, why did you keep coming back if this were true? Well, now he would try to explain it. It's career advancement. I was trying to help my career. I was maybe hoping that this wouldn't happen again, that I'd have a safe place. You know, I'm trying to think of my career. I'm trying to think of my family. Anyway, going back to this. After the dinner, Rodriguez claims that Perry invited him, again, over to his house. And by the way, there is a text exchange that's embedded in this complaint that arguably confirms this meetup at the house. There, the suit describes Perry allegedly making explicit sexual propositions. When Rodriguez goes to the kitchen, the suit alleges, quote, Mr. Perry followed Mr. Rodriguez to the kitchen. Then, Mr. Perry tightly hugged Mr. Rodriguez and repeatedly told him to, quote, hold on, while Mr. Perry tried to unbuckle Mr. Rodriguez's pants. And the complaint then states, it alleges, that Perry then grabbed Rodriguez in the genital area. And Rodriguez allegedly said no. He was able to struggle free. And then he apparently calls Uber to go home. And as he waits for his ride, the suit describes this alleged sequence. Quote, Mr. Perry tried to apologize for his sexual assault, telling Mr. Rodriguez, hey, my bad, my bad. Mr. Perry, afraid of consequences for his sexual assaults, then stepped away for a minute, returned, and stuffed $5,000 into Mr. Rodriguez's pocket. So from there.
So for those of you who are slow, that was asking in the comments, not in these comments, because we got some rational people up in here, but in them other comments when I was reading on Mr. Rodriguez's Instagram, for those, well, why did you take $5,000? Tyler Perry shoved the money in his pocket to shut him up. That was hush money. So for those of you a little slow, and a little up too, because you ain't never seen $5,000 either in your account or ever in life, that's why he was able to, that's why he took the money, because that was supposed to be hush money. Pay me for my pain, I guess, and my silence. So that's why he did that. Let's get back to the video.
The complaint claims that the next month, Perry invited Rodriguez over again to his house, and there was another embedded conversation, text exchange, seemingly suggesting that. Now, I'm going to read you this next part verbatim from the complaint. I think it's important. Quote, Mr. Rodriguez agreed to go over because Perry had made him believe that Perry was sorry for assaulting him. The $5,000 and reaching out back to him about the situation and making light of it was a sign of Perry's understanding of his guilt and of the mistake Perry made. Even though lucid Rodriguez would be concerned about a worse assault, Rodriguez could not get past the potential of living in the dream of being a movie star and the fame and fortune to accompany him that was being dangled in front of him. And very, very important if he's cross-examined about why he kept going back. Now, Rodriguez claims, though, that while at Perry's house, Perry allegedly massaged his shoulders, gave him long hugs, talked about sexual things, and then sprinkled in some stuff about work. And he claims that he would leave the house before things escalated. From there, the suit claims, after another unwanted advance, namely allegedly forcing his hand on Perry's private area in 2018 or 2019, so this is a separate incident. Again, Rodriguez claims he went over to the house because this was his only way to break into the industry, and that Perry allegedly said they were going to talk about potential roles. It says, the complaint says, quote, Perry once again apologized and stuffed another $5,000 in cash in Mr. Rodriguez's pocket and sent him away. Now, after Rodriguez apparently finally cut off contact with Tyler Perry, the complaint includes these apparent text messages from June 2019 seemingly showing Perry's frustration. So if these are in fact messages between Perry and Rodriguez, okay, assuming that's what these are, Perry allegedly texts him, quote, I haven't heard from you. And when Rodriguez apologized, Perry allegedly responded, I deserve a text at least once a month. There's also alleged texts from Tyler Perry that say, good night, F off, wanted to give you much S, you never text unless something is going on. A text saying, no, you're busy, just saying hi is what all my friends do. And in the end, Rodriguez claims that he never got additional work from Tyler Perry. And the lawsuit claims that Rodriguez decided to come forward in 2025 with his allegations after learning of that similar lawsuit that was filed by actor Derek Dixon. In fact, and this is in the complaint, a friend allegedly texted Rodriguez about Dixon's lawsuit, and Rodriguez replied, quote, OS, he's at it again, when's he gonna learn? Where the friend responded, when he ends up like Diddy, referring to Sean Diddy Combs. Now, the final part of the complaint lays out the 4 legal claims, the causes of action here, what he's suing for. Sexual assault, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, all against Perry, and there is a 4th claim for negligent retention against Lionsgate. By the way, should be noted the timing of the suit, so it's filed right before 2026. And for example, under California law, you need to file a sexual assault lawsuit within 10 years from the date of the last act or attempted act. And while he describes an incident in 2019, remember, 2015 is when all of this allegedly started and, traced back to that first alleged episode. So I would imagine in an abundance of caution, filing this right before 2026, probably how the suit can maybe go forward. That's just my 2 cents. Anyway, going back to that negligent retention claim, so the argument is that Lionsgate, right, this film distributor, which the suit claims hires and supervises Tyler Perry and benefits from his production of films, they knew or should have known of this alleged misconduct, that they failed to act, and they continued to financially benefit from their relationship with Tyler Perry. And this lawsuit is seeking damages reportedly totaling $77 million. Rodriguez claims that he has suffered PTSD, physical, psychological, emotional injuries, damage to his professional reputation, which, by the way, yes, could be substantiated by Rodriguez testifying about how he suffered. But sometimes in these lawsuits, you see medical professionals testifying, maybe an agent, a producer talking about reputational harm or what they observed, friends, family. But the harm suffered is essential for a damages calculation in a lawsuit. So that's the core narrative and the key excerpts as presented in this 28-page complaint. Now, I will say this, okay? In the days since this complaint was filed, there has been some activity. Both sides have responded publicly. So Tyler Perry's defense team, which is led by high-profile attorney Alex Spiro, has issued a categorical denial. That statement reads, having recently failed in another matter against Mr. Perry, the very same lawyer has now made yet another demand from more than a decade ago, which will also be a failed money grab. And this directly references the previous lawsuit filed by actor Derek Dixon, which is still in its early legal stages, apparently was moved from California to Georgia. And shortly after the lawsuit became public, Mario Rodriguez, the plaintiff here, posted a video addressing his choice to speak out. Listen to what he said.
Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. And I just want to say I'm really sorry, man, because if I would have spoken up sooner, I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me. I just want to say sorry for that, whoever that may be. It could have stopped with me if I would have said something. But I do apologize and I'm speaking.
Then a court of law. What do you think about
I had to fast forward because we already played that clip and we don't need to hear it again, but let me rewind a little bit.
The discovery process, as material is exchanged and evidence is exchanged, what could come out of trial, what could come out in the media. And whenever you think about a high-profile player like this, there's two things, right? There's obviously the lawsuit, there's the court of law, but then also the court of public opinion. The world of public opinion is a lot different than a court of law. The text messages that are being presented publicly, they could be more difficult ones to overcome or explain from a media perspective, from a PR perspective. Now, the problem for Rodriguez is this is an allegation. And unless he told others, immediately or over the years what allegedly happened to him, there's that friend that allegedly texted him the news of Dixon when that came out, maybe that person would come forward. But unless Rodriguez has some other definitive proof, it is essentially his word against Tyler Perry's. And him keeping contact with Tyler Perry and still coming over, that will have to be explained to a jury. It really comes down to that continuing conversation of power dynamics, the psychology of sexual assault, the Hollywood dynamic. It can get very, very complicated. But for Tyler Perry, again, these are just allegations and he's denying it. And Tyler Perry has a right to defend himself. So this is still in the early stages. We will see how that plays out and we'll keep a careful eye on it here on.
So yeah, so y'all pretty much got, I just wanted to show y'all that video breaking on down so y'all get all the nuances and stuff, because we don't just be giving surface table shit on this channel. But yeah, I will definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. I don't really need to go through y'all comments or whatever, because I was posting it throughout the thing because I thought it'd be entertaining to actually show what a lot of people that are watching this, that's in the comments, is saying in real time. But yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to have to keep abreast of. Hopefully he did tell other people what had happened and be able to use them to, if it does go to court, they'll have to come in and testify on Mario's behalf. And I hope that there's some kind of receipt that's around that where, not just that little one-sided text message that Tyler Perry put out there, just so that way he gets to show like, yeah, it's a money grab. Oh yeah, it's this, that, and the other. My thing is, y'all need to explain how is it that you are a person in power and have this studio and everything and some extra, because that's what he was. Frat boy number 10. Like, you wouldn't even have a name, but this dude's got your number and he's able to have these personal text messages with you and ask you for money and all those other things. Like, you have to explain all of that. And my thing is this, it may be a money grab, sir, but you're going to have to explain the fact of like, did you deny any of the stuff this young man is saying? All of y'all coming out saying is that it's a money grab. Okay. But how do you explain? You need to explain the other stuff. And maybe he'll have to have his Kevin Spacey moment, which would be, that's the one time you're going to have to admit that you are full on rhymes with maggot when your back is up against the wall and you've been accused of harassing someone of the same gender, which is what Kevin Spacey had to do when all the accusations came out about him, which pissed off a lot of the community, because here you go being an abuser and now you're trying to equate that with being gay, which has always been sort of a stereotype within our community that we don't want no parts of. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? We definitely, it's going to be, it's still a relatively new story. There's only been a couple of days since this tea has come out. I'm sure that we will be breaking this down along with the Derek Dixon story. We got to find out what's going on with that, because Derek Dixon, his stuff been quiet too. The only time we heard from Derek was we heard from his story, and then I think the Charlie Kirk thing happened, so that overshadowed everything. And so now we have this thing coming out, and now it's the holidays, so people aren't really like engulfed in the gossip and everything that's going on with that. So I guess at the top of 2026, we're going to really dive deeper into this, because I'm sure more tea is going to come out, and I'm sure, and I would not be surprised if there'll be other men that will be coming out, accusing Tyler of this. And it all can't be no goddamn money grab, Miss Mama. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So let me close that window. And shout out to Lauren Crime, because y'all definitely did that. Y'all did that, the damn thing with that one. Breaking it on down. He said, money is never about how good they can act. Like, his movies are exactly, because the writing is bad. And even if you like the best actor in the world, you can only do so much with that tight ass material. But the reality is, like I said, he don't want to pay writers. So he's like, oh, they don't get like the stuff that I do. No, you're just worried that somebody's gonna write a script better than you. Because you haven't, like, my thing is, when you write, and the more you write, aren't you supposed to get better at your craft? How do you get worse? Like, make it make sense. Because you don't care. You know that you have a certain demographic that's always going to support your stuff. You got your series of loyalists, and it is what it is. It's never about how good they can act. Like, his movies are ridiculous and don't require good actors. That should be the clue to why he actually okay. I can't even access. Absolutely. Because remember, this guy was a personal trainer before he came into this whole, he was pulled into Tyler Perry's web of deceit. So now also you said also some of these guys will go gay. Absolutely. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, there are plenty of gay babes out here. How many times have we had this conversation on the show? I mean, the Wild Podcast, they make a shit ton of money with this whole gay for pay mess. Which, if y'all like it, I love it. I don't support the whole gay for pay. Like, don't come in here and try to pander to our community because y'all giving trade. And there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas that be wanting something they can't have, which is kind of like the same category we put in Tyler Perry in. Tyler Perry can have any man in the world that he wants. But when you're someone who's never been told no by anybody and you're in a place of power, you always want what you can't have. So you go after the have and the have not. Didn't he have a show called that? So, and then there's men who will go around and they'll play up the whole gay for pay thing, because I'm sure like he was struggling, and I'm sure there's probably some truth to the whole money grab situation. But if you out here purposely putting yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, this man is interested in me, I'm not interested in him, but he got money, and I don't have to struggle if I just go along to get along. So there could be a little bit of truth to that. I just bit my lip. Hope it's not bleeding. So it was like, there could be a little bit of truth to that, but if the courts bring that part up, then they'll just have to explain it. But that's still but at the end of the day, even if it was like I did a whole gay for pay type situation, does that still excuse Tyler Perry for what he did? Is he innocent in all of this? At the end of the day, you've been exposed. He could get others, but he was like forbidden fruit, which made it more exciting. And that is a fetish for people. That the fact that, oh yeah, I can have any man I want. Where's the fun in that? I like the chase. There are some people that have that alpha male mentality that like the chase of having what they can having access to something they can't have a piece of. And if somebody is turning me down, oh, I'm gonna keep chasing it. Eventually I'll get it, even if I gotta pay for it. And it's sad that that's the mindset that some people have, but you have to stop. I think a lot of people just think, y'all think, the hell is that? Minuscule. There is look like a damn water bug. I mean, not a water bug. It's some kind of bug on my ring light. The fuck? Well, I had to kill it. I heard a crunch. I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know what it was, but it was just crawling on my ring light. I was like, I don't know if it was a lightning bug or whatever, but it's dead. Anyway, chill. The day I'm having. All right, y'all. So now, where we going? Okay, so now we're gonna go from one problematic black man to another. Let's talk about the diddler. So the diddler, apparently, y'all know, is still in jail. But with that whole situation, I don't know if y'all seen the docuseries that was on Netflix. I haven't watched it. I don't care to watch it. Shout out to Torre, because Torre was like, I've interviewed and been around Diddy for years. There was a lot of inaccuracies that was in the Netflix docuseries done by 50 Cent. And to me personally, 50 Cent is messy. He's a troll. That's another damn butch queen. And a messy butch queen. And with 50 Cent to me always comes across as someone like, you had an axe to grind. There was an agenda attached to that whole docuseries because you don't like Diddy. And I just don't feel like you were being 110% truthful with a lot of the stuff that was in there. And Torre, shout out to him, because I watched his YouTube video where he talked about it. He said there was a lot of untruths in that whole series. And that was enough for me to be like, I'm not watching it, and I trust Torre over 50 any day, because yes, Torre is a legend within the whole interview space. I used to grow up reading a lot of Torre stuff. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he write for Rolling Stone? Like I used to read a lot of Torre's articles when he would interview a lot of musicians in the industry. So, with that being said, now comes word that with this whole situation surrounding that Sean Combs The Reckoning, allegedly, according to the trades, Diddy might be taking Netflix and the 50 Cent, loose change, as I like to call him sometimes when he get on my damn nerves, to court over them lies that was spread of that damn show. So, shout out to Deadline for this story, by the way. Now, amidst the abundance of SA civil complaints, the incarcerated Diddy is currently fighting plus a December 23rd filed criminal case appeal. The new prison release date, the Bad Boy Records founder may soon be coming through on his threats and taking on the Ted Sarandos run streamer and longtime rival rapper too. Sean Combs and his team are still pondering their legal options over the Netflix docuseries about the stolen footage. A spokesperson for the Bad Boy founder told Deadline today about the chart-topping The Reckoning and series revealing BTS scenes, behind the scenes, for those who don't know what that is, of the scheming Diddy in the days lining up to his September 2024 arrest. Well, he's probably feeling like, well, y'all had no right to that footage. But then again, I'm starting to think that the only reason why that footage was 50 was able to get his hands on it is because allegedly Diddy did not pay the person for that footage. And if 50 was like, well, he heard through the grapevine somebody had this footage that could really show Diddy for the piece of that he is towards people less than him, if they was going to pay top dollar for that footage because Diddy didn't pay for it, and it's technically my stuff. Yeah, I'm using you, your fair use, whatever the case is. But if you ain't paid me for it, it's technically my stuff. So 50 Cent had the money. Netflix had the money. I took the money from them. If that's a situation, then that's something y'all got to prove in the whole court of law. But my thing is like, yeah, unless you pay me for the footage, it's technically mine. So then they said with time served taken into wait, hold on, because I was like, did I miss something? Oh, they said currently behind bars at the low security Fort Dix in New Jersey. Combs escaped the big ticket sex trafficking RICO charges on July 2nd, but was found guilty on the jury of 2 lesser counts. Okay, we already know what he in jail for. We don't need to keep rehashing that. Facing literally dozens and dozens of civil suits across the nation, and a new sexual battery probe opened last month by the LA County Sheriff's Department. Combs was sentenced 30 months in early October. With time served taken into account, the Federal Bureau, I was going to say FBI, but it's FBP, Federal Bureau of Prisons, had him originally set to be let out on May 8, 2028, if there was no incidents or citations. Then once Combs was transferred to the far cushier Garden State facility, he was set to be released on June 4, 2028. Now, unless his fast-track appeal proves a winner, Diddy is getting out on May 25th, 2028, according to the latest info from the FBOP. Now, no reason was given for this latest change as why just over a week was shaved off Combs' time in the joint. Fact is, like so many things in life, it sometimes takes authorities a bit of time to get the math correct in incarceration matters for both high-profile convicts and regular old bad guys. Even before the 4-part Alexandria Stapleton-directed Reckoning was launched on the global streamer on December 2nd, lawyers for Diddy tried to have it shut down. Colin Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson EP, The Reckoning, a shameful hit piece. That December 1st December 1st cease and desist letter proclaimed the footage of Combs at a NYC hotel rooming, ranting at his defense lawyers was stolen and illegally obtained. Accuser CEO Sarandos of corporate retribution from allegedly being rebuffed by Combs on a 2023 docu-project. The letter went on to say, as you are undoubtedly aware, Mr. Combs has not hesitated to take legal action against media entities and others who violate his rights, and he will not hesitate to do so against Netflix. Well, good luck, sir, because Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery about to be merged. So good luck trying to get them in the court. And funny enough, I was even thinking that before we did the Tyler Perry story, because Tyler Perry does a lot of Netflix stuff. Well, stuff in Netflix. I'm glad he suing Lionsgate and not Netflix, because I think when Boo came out, that was around the time when he was in bed with Lionsgate. I don't think he does stuff with them anymore. Now he's more or less with Netflix, and I know he's also done stuff. Has he done stuff with Prime Video, I believe, also? I know he's been with multiple streamers where he's been doing movies, because it's been years since Tyler Perry movie has been in the theater. But I think now he does mostly work with Netflix. But anyway, so earlier this month, the streamer offered its own version of events to what the often hyperbolic Combs claims was really going on. The project has no ties to any past conversations between Sean Combs and Netflix, a spokesperson for the streamer said of Sarandos and Diddy's professional relationship and any other docu-project. The footage of Combs leading up to his indictment and arrest were legally obtained. This is not a hit piece or an act of retribution. Curtis Jackson is an EP, but does not have creative control. No one was paid to participate. So how you an executive producer, but you don't have creative control of what's going on? Is that just because you gave the funds and you put your name on it and that was it? Because that's how sometimes some people get an executive producer credit. It's like, oh, I'll just throw my name on it, but I didn't do nothing with the thing. So I would like to know what, and I guess if it does go to court, they're gonna have to prove like how much work did 50 put into this document. Like, what was his role exactly? Because executive producer is a complex title. Some people just be executive producer in name only, and then there's some that actually, they go out, they seek out the money, and they look for this and this and that. Like they're really hands on with the thing. So we just got to know what level of how much work did he put into it. So they also said that perhaps unintentionally providing some degree of legal coverage to Netflix, so-called Sean Combs documentarian Michael Oberlees on December 10th offered up how the hotel footage ended up on The Reckoning. The footage in question was not related to released by me or anyone authorized to handle Sean Combs' materials. It was by a third party who covered for me for 3 days while I was out of state. It should be noted that Netflix has been in a similar situation before over what was called stolen footage, and the streamer came up a winner in court. Attempts in 2022 by members of Orgasmic by members of Orgasmic Meditation Organization One Taste to shut down the docu Orgasm Inc. over misappropriated footage failed. First of all, where have I been? I've never heard of Orgasm Inc. If y'all have heard about it, let me know in the comments. The streamer successfully argued in LA's Superior Court that they had come across the video of training session legally and that a lot of what Orgasm Inc. showed, with faces blurred, was out in public already. Undoubtedly, with the One Taste case in mind, Combs, the Reckoning lawyers must be weighing the odds of court victory with that precedent. Certainly, the stakes that are so much lower now, the well-watched docuseries has been online almost a month. Yeah, at this point, it's like people saw what they saw. You could take them to court and you could do all the legal whatever that you need to, but the court, as it was stated in the last video that we did with Tyler Perry, there's the court, the legal system, that court situation, and then there's the court of public opinion. So whether or not you take this to court and all the legalities play out the way that they're going to play out, the people have already seen the docuseries and have already made up their mind about Diddy. And even if it wasn't the Netflix situation, there's been multiple docu-series and shows and movies and things. I think HBO Max did one. I saw that one I saw that one. And then there's one on Peacock. So there's been so many other streaming services that have done documentaries and docu-series on Diddy. There's so many out there. People already made up their mind about who he is, and you're doing time in jail, so people already are aware of who and what you are. So I just feel like this is a waste of damn time, in my opinion. So now, on a parallel track, Diddy's attorneys is in this much hype and already expedited appeal finally got around to putting an official document in the court docket just before Christmas, trashing trial judge Aaron Subramanian for supposedly acting like the 13th juror. The filing wants the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to spring Combs out free one way or another. And yeah, they still trying to get this manager. I'm like, just do your damn time, child. Like, you're not getting out. So now, if this court does not overturn Combs' conviction, it should release him immediately and instruct the district court to resentence him only for the conduct in which he was convicted, the Alexandra Shapiro signed 84-page appeal says. Now, even though Combs admitted in the opening days of his trial in May that he had a serious drug problem and inflicted domestic abuse among various women and men in his circle, the appeal lays it on thick and describes the Grammy winner as an extraordinarily successful self-made businessman, artist and philanthropist, and one of the most accomplished black men in this country. Same thing they were trying to say about Tyler Perry. But look, here's the thing. I don't care how many philanthropical things you've done. I don't care how many great business deals that you've made. I don't care how great of an artist you think you are. But if you run around taking advantage of the lesser than, be it a man, a woman, or a sheep, I'm just throwing that out there, the sheep part. But if it's man, woman, whatever, you need to be held accountable. So stop with the whole, and a lot of times people use that philanthropic or I do so much for the community. They use that as a smoke screen so they could do their sinister things beneath it. We've seen that play out many a times when it comes to moguls, oligarchs, what have you. So there you have it. So I would definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, but I just feel like Diddy, child, just give it up. Just do your time. The court of, like we were saying before, there's the court and the court of public opinion. People already made their minds up about you. You still got your band of supporters, but for the most part, there's people out here that's still looking at you like you are a disgrace. So I say all this, and look, we've seen the footage, so we know what type of man you actually are. So whereas like you're a fraud, you're someone who acts like you for the people, but so many people touch me. I need a shower. I don't want no. It's like, ew, that's how you think. Because it's like you trying to act like you of the people, but in reality, behind closed doors, you think you above the people. That you be out here trying to act like you of. So, miss me with the phoniness. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are on this whole matter, I definitely want to hear from you. Also, let me know in the comments down below. It probably was. I was like, what the hell is that crawling in my ring light? And you said the FBBC. Because I was struggling with calling it what I was going to call it. That would be like R. Kelly's child. Can you imagine? People made up their mind about him years ago, but the Netflix series exposed a lot more of his, and the multiple shows exposed him for the man that he is. Okay? Ain't shit pit bullish about some damn Diddy. That's what his legal team, I guess, is there, for. All right, y'all. So now let's talk about, let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Cardi B. So apparently she's being dragged by her the Barty gang over her relationship with Stefon Diggs because they're like, girl, why'd you get pregnant by that man? He out here allegedly done had multiple babies on you. And you out here riding for which is why I always say stop dating these athletes and stop dating these damn musicians because they all a bunch of goddamn cheaters. I said what I said. And not all. Now, you can prove me wrong, but I'm like all of them. Cardi B bluntly addressed all the hate she's been getting lately from fans about her relationship with Stefon. And now, of course, she got to get vulgar with that damn mouth. That's why I said you could take the girl out the hood, ... The rapper says some of her fans have been a little too mean and that they've been dragging her for the past 3 or 4 days, detailing it all in a video she posted Monday on X. Wait, Twitter. Let me see if the video is there and then we could play it. Because I didn't even open it. Oh, yeah, I do got it. Hold on. Let me see how long this video is. Oh, it's a minute and a half. We can play it. I was like, I don't know if I want to do another video that's going to be 20 minutes. But anyway, nevertheless, we can get to it. But I'm like, girl, that mouth. But like I said, you can take the girl out the hood. Hold on. Let's play the clip. And wait, that's not it. That's not what I wanted to do. I was like, did I get it? Yeah, I got it. Almost forgot how to work my own damn show. Okay. We'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Y'all need to calm down. Y'all need to calm down. Is y'all cool? Y'all been dragging me for 3 or 4 days. Y'all been a little bit too mean. Like, now. Y'all been a little bit too mean. I can't change shit. I can't go back in time. You know what I'm saying? I already had a baby. Y'all want me to put my baby back in my pussy? Huh? I don't know. What y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to leave my man and fuck yours? You want me to leave my man and just go and fuck yours? I don't know. What y'all want me to do? What y'all want me to do? We can only go forward now. So I don't know. 2026 is in a couple of days. I have so much work to do once January starts that is stressing me out. I'm going to be away from my babies, away from my personal life, away from my home. I have to rehearse for 10 to 12 hours a day for tour. There is so many elements of production that I'm missing for tour. I'm already super stressed out. You know what I'm saying? I'm already super stressed out. I need my support system, my fans to love me. I want y'all to come to my tour and enjoy yourself with me. Don't be dragging me. It's enough. All right? It's enough. I love y'all. I want good for y'all. I want good for y'all. I want health, money, prosperity, happiness for this new year for y'all. Wish me the same thing, all right?
Okay, so y'all pretty much got the gist with all of that. But here's the thing. It's like, it just looks like to me, she's basically saying, you know what? I get it. It is what it is. Like all the stuff that people were saying about Stefon being sloppy and the fact that he got, what they call those? What Irish twins? Well, at this point, he got like multiple children. So what are those? Triplets, quadruplets? When y'all all having, when you be knocking up a bunch of girls around the same time and y'all have babies within the same year. And so y'all all kind of like co-siblings. Like, I guess he trying to meet up to Nick Cannon number. I don't know. But like, it seemed like to me, she's like, you know what? It is what it is. What you want me to do? My thing is, focus on your career, which is what she said she's going to be doing in January, because she got 2 nights at the Garden. You know, you cannot be doing no Madison Square Garden 2 nights and it be a chopped ass mess. So let her concentrate on putting this show together, finally giving a proper tour, because she has not toured in years. You know, she's done little shows here and there, but let her do her tour. Let her focus on that. Let her put together what she needs to put together, because that other rapper out here being a hot ass mess running at the Trailer Park USA and doing all that foolishness with them. So let Cardi do what she got to do, what she's doing. It is what it is. She got a baby, but I will say this, ma'am. Maybe what you need to do is, look, fuck who you want to fuck. Date who you want to date. Stop getting pregnant by everybody you spread your legs for. Maybe you need to start doing that. But I'm like, and then people, why I'm wondering what she need to do with her body, whatever the case is. But look, everything you do come with consequences. So if there's consequences that she's willing to deal with, she's going to have to deal with it. It is what it is. I mean, yes, she's got the money to be able to take care of however many babies she want to have, but I don't want to put myself in a situation where it's like all my baby fathers is bums and I got all these damn kids and it's like I'm basically going to be a single mother for the rest of my life. I mean, if it all turns out to be that way, then whatever. But she's got to do better at trying to pick the type of man she's going to date. And if at this point it's like, look, I got 4 kids. That should be enough. If I'm going to date, put an IUD up in your pussy since you want to sit it. You want me to put the baby back in my pussy? I'm like, first of all, that would hurt, because I can imagine you pushing that shit out. You can imagine putting that back up in you? That could be ultimately painful. So I wouldn't even try that. But you got to also think of this like, maybe try to make better decisions. But then again, it's like, how do you even know the type of man somebody's going to be when you're with them? But if they got this type of reputation where they got a whole bunch of baby mamas and all this other stuff, I'm not putting myself in a situation where I can become baby mama number, whatever number I'm going to be. It's like, I'm going to just be protecting myself. We're going to date, we're going to do whatever. Because technically, you still married. And now you're having a baby with another man. But that whole thing is complicated because she's already said that Offset won't give her a damn divorce. So he out here ain't no innocent in this mess either. So look, this is the bed that she decided to create. She's just going to have to lay in it and figure out how to make it work for her if this relationship don't last. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts, this relationship with her and Stefon Diggs ain't going to last. And I don't want to put no dirty, negative roots on the situation, but you can look at it. The tea leaves is loud and clear, and it's basically saying, you made a mistake. Yeah, I mean, the good thing, I guess, is you got a baby out of it. and you'll be forever connected. But I wouldn't want to be forever connected with no bum ass man, just because I got a kid with them. Because remember, I noticed the same patterns that she was having. Offset was with Stefon. Remember, Offset, when it was going through their mess, oh, I'm gonna buy her a car, I'm gonna buy her this, I'm gonna buy her that, and all was forgiven because she was getting the gifts. Stefon, they're dating and everything, the honeymoon phase, everything is going great. He's renting out castles for her, so he's upstaging Offset in a lot of ways. But the pattern remains the same, and how the type of man they act. So just because your money a little longer, don't necessarily mean you're not gonna attract the same type of no good man, Savannah, that that last person you gravitated towards. Because then again, I always have to say at the end of the day, you gotta look at yourself and realize, why am I attracting these type of men? What is it about me that I'm attracting alleged, like the Offsets and the Stefons and anybody that comes out there? You got to be able to change your pattern, sis. And hopefully, a little distance between y'all, because I don't know if they're necessarily broken up. But the way that she was talking very vaguely in that video, it makes it seem like she's aware of the situation. It is what it is, and what can she do about it? It's like, the baby's here. There's nothing I can do about it, which I totally get. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Cardi and that mouth of hers? I was like, girl, that mouth. Basically saying, come on, people, ease off of her a little bit. It's like, yeah, she's right. There's nothing she can do about it. The kid is here. Now it's just like, I got to just move on forward, and I got to live my life at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. We all do, well, relationships, whatever the case. I'm not saying the baby's a mistake, but let's just hope and pray that you're learning from these mistakes, because if you don't, you're doomed to repeat them over and over. You know what they say about people who do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Cherokee says, I thought the documentary was pretty good. It's that I'm tired of stuff being presented from biased angles. Like, just tell the whole truth. I wish, because the whole agenda bias thing, that does get on my nerves. Because like, just tell a full-fledged nuance. Like, try to hit both sides. That's what I try to do with this show. Is that, and I'm hoping I'm succeeding at it. Is that I try to always bring out both sides of the situation, because I'm not somebody that's going to be quick to take sides. I guess that's my Virgo thing, that I always got to find the balance between each situation and come to that analysis and conclusion. I don't like the whole idea of like, oh yeah, I got a personal vendetta or an agenda against this person, so I'm a personally only tell this side. How does that serve me? And so I saw you can already watch the first 10 minutes. Oh yeah, I saw that too. And I was gonna mention that, but here's the thing: there's parts of it that I already saw, because they showed it at the Drag Race premiere that I did earlier in the month, which was basically the queen showing up in a dark room and their introductions. They were showing those clips. So I already saw that part. And then they were using that as a juxtaposition for Mark. Oh my God, what's his name? The guy that works at Variety. I forgot his name. But if he was co-hosting with T.S. Madison, and they were introducing the queens to the stage by using that footage of their entrance looks and all that. So that's basically what I saw when I was at the Drag Race premiere. I didn't see the full thing, and I was like, and even when I was talking to my friend David, who was doing the photography, David Lav, who was doing the photography and stuff there, he was basically saying like, I kind of wish they wouldn't even show like the first 10 minutes. Just have people wait until literally 2 days from now, because that's when the first episode premieres. Is it? No, 3 days. Because tomorrow. No, yeah, because tomorrow is Wednesday. I don't know why I keep thinking like Friday is New Year's Day or something or another. I keep thinking today is like Wednesday or something. I don't know. But I don't know, because maybe the days are just off for me. The days have been blurring. So yeah, it's like we have New Year's Eve, which of course the Stranger Things thing, and then we have New Year's Day, and then Friday. So it comes out this Friday. So we got 3 days before Drag Race. So I'm not gonna, I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna just wait for the episode to drop. They say, you like me. Oh yeah, I dead named X. I ain't calling that crap no damn. Well, I said it now, but y'all get the. So I be calling it Twitter. No damn X. Stupid. Why would she say y'all want me to put? I know, that's why I said, I was like, I'm gonna just let her say it. Because I was not, you want me to put that baby back in my pussy? I'm like, girl, why you gotta be so graphic? It's like, why you gotta say it like that? Now, look at me trying to sound all conservative, especially with the shit that comes out of this damn mouth. But I'm like, ma'am, you ain't have to go that far with it. Cuddler, clearly. And you said you do that well. That's why I watch. You're biased from a mentally well perspective. And you call me mentally well. That's a compliment. All right, y'all. So now we down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four topics of the evening, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button if you have not already. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And if you missed it from what I said earlier, I'm going to repeat it again. I want to thank all the new people that have discovered this channel based off of my Nicki Minaj video that I did, where I noticed like that video blew up. It's probably the thumbnail and the title. That probably helped. But the fact that it blew up and I got a lot of new subscribers from that video alone, I want to say thank you for coming. And now y'all going to see even more mess with all the other topics that I be talking about on here. So we go a lot. We talk about more than just Nicki being a maggot over on this show. We talk about all the things. So I want to appreciate y'all, and I want to thank all the new people that are tuning in to watch this show. Also, if you want, be sure to, if you want, drop a little something in the comments. We like all of that banter during the live. So without further ado, let's get back into the show and let's talk about Britney. So apparently over the Christmas holiday, one of Britney's children came and spent Christmas with her. And so Sean Preston apparently was the one who decided not to spend time with his mother, but his brother Jaden came over and spent time with the Princess of Pop. But apparently, according to Page 6, she was actually upset because allegedly she's the one that put out the olive branch, and Sean decided to spend the holiday with the pop star's family in Louisiana. Hence, probably why she roasted the family in this sarcastic Christmas post. Let me see, what is it that she actually said? That it said that she shared an image of a decorated holiday tree and added a sarcastic note saying, "Merry late Christmas to my beautiful family who have never disrespected me, harmed me, ever done anything completely unacceptable or caused unbelievable trauma, the kind you can't fix." Now, they said the mother of two who spent Christmas with one of her sons, 19-year-old Jaden, added, "To my dear, sweet, innocent family, so sorry I was busy this Christmas, but I will definitely show up and surprise you too soon. I can't wait." She then gave her 7-year-old niece, Ivy, a special shout out. "Hello, beautiful Ivy. I just want to hold you, my love." Whose child is that? Is this 7-year-old niece, is that her brother's child, or is that Jamie Lynn's kid? Because I know she don't like Jamie Lynn, but they be going back and forth on that. But then they said on Christmas Day, Jamie Lynn, who's 34, posted, damn, that's a hard 34 chair. When I was looking at her picture, posted a carousel from her family's Christmas celebration. Now, in addition to her nephew, she was joined by husband Jamie Watson, daughters. Okay, so Ivy is her kid. Daughters Ivy and Maddie. Maddie is 17, and mom Lynn, who's 70. Shout out to my mother because she's about to turn 70 in January 9th. So damn, I'm like, well, I was gonna say and Brittany's mother's around the same age, but it's like, no, they're not. My mother's January. She's a Capricorn. So, but now, according to Page 6, they said that they can confirm that Britney tried to convince Sean Preston to spend the holidays with her and his brother Jaden in California. If I've noticed, Sean Preston really has not been connecting with his mother in a lot of ways. We've been noticing post the whole, what do you call it? The child support situation, when that all dried up, and then all of a sudden Kevin Federline decided to write that horrible ass book that nobody read except the media, so that way they could spill all his tea, so that way we could save our money instead of wasting it on a book that should have been a damn pamphlet or an article in Page 6 or TMZ. He I guess Jaden was the one that's always kind of been pursuing an olive branch with his mother. We were seeing him hanging out with her quite a few times. We've seen where it was like he would play the piano and Britney would record him and they would be spending a lot of quality time. But Sean's always kind of been missing in action. So they said, yeah. However, a source told Us Weekly on Tuesday that the 20-year-old chose not to because he wasn't ready to meet her halfway, which left the Princess of Pop feeling really hurt. Spears' eldest child instead spent the holidays in Louisiana with Grandma Lynn Spears, Aunt Jamie Lynn, and more loved ones. The toxic crooner, who's 44, subsequently roasted her strange family in a sarcastic Instagram post, which I already read. I don't need to read that again. As for his brother, the 19-year-old had an amazing and beautiful Christmas with his mom in LA on Thursday. They laughed a lot and bonded more than they have in a while, according to the outlet. It deepened their connection. Now, the duo reportedly ate a really delicious glazed ham, watched movies, played and listened to music, and visited a few good family friends. Well, it's cool that, Jaden is trying to make amends and stuff with his mother. I guess you're just gonna have to wait until Sean is ready to come around. I guess he has his reasons. Funny enough, they're both Virgos. So on one hand, I can understand like one of the kids is trying to make amends with his mother and not wanting to let the past come in the way of things. And then there's the Virgo side where it's like, yeah, I've been hurt so many times, I'm a hold a grudge. And I don't want to be around your ass because to take a title of a Britney song, you could be toxic. We don't necessarily know the type of woman that Britney is behind the scenes because you only know her from the pop star that we've seen in these weird ass videos and posts that she be posted on Instagram. So they also said that the Grammy winner plans to get together more often with both of her boys next year, according to Us Weekly. The Crossroads star would like to eventually take family vacations together and just do normal family activities like going shopping and going out to eat. The source noted that things have gotten a lot easier in their relationship since the boys turned 18, since it's now up to her and the boys on how the relationship develops. So it's like, yeah, it's like, look, the past is the past. Whatever happened with that conservatorship and what Jamie did with her keeping her away from her kids and, according to Britney, using the kids as leverage for them to get whatever they need to get out of her to make her turn her into a damn pack mule and be out here working her to the bone so that way they could all financially thrive off of her performing and everything, which is why she won't even get back on the stage because she has yet to come to terms with the trauma of them weaponizing her dream against her. So when you have a passion and love for something and your family has decided to use that as a weapon against you, why would you want to even go back into the thing that you once loved? So it's like she's got to kind of find a way to come to a reconciliation with that. And I'm hoping that it works out with her in both sides. I mean, we don't have to worry about Jaden. Jaden and her seem like they're Gucci with everything. But with her and Sean, I really hope that he finds a way to work it out. He's going to have to come around in his own time and figure out what he wants to do in regards if he wants to, make amends or have a relationship with his mother, whatever the case is. And we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see if they can work through their issues. So, yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest one was coming out about that? Oh, wait, I forgot to also mention Rob Shooter did come in and spill some tea. So, they said Britney surprised Christmas reunion with son Jaden. So Britney Spears' Christmas reunion with her son Jaden Federline was emotional, unexpected, and quietly revealing. Sources told him that Britney did not know Jaden was coming and hadn't prepared gifts, making the visit spontaneous and deeply personal. She was genuinely surprised and happy to see him. It wasn't planned at all. During the visit, Britney chose to give Jaden some cash, a gesture the sources describe as maternal and instinctive rather than transactional. She gave him money because that's how she shows love. One insider explained it came from a good place. Well, here's the thing. My grandmother did the same thing too, where it was like, that was her way of showing love. Some people looked at it as it was a sign of control, which is why a lot of times, and I don't want to be out here telling my family business, but I think that's why my uncles take advantage of my grandmother because they knew it was like the only way she knew how to show love and affection was through her wallet. And my family got a lot of coins. So there was a little situation that came with that. So to me, it's like, I guess maybe the way I'm looking at it from an analytical standpoint Britney was using money as a gesture to her child, where it wouldn't feel like, oh yeah, I'm just giving you money for the sake of giving money. Because like they said, she didn't even know, according to Rob Shooter, that he was even coming. It was a surprise visit. I'm just going to go hang out with my mother. The brother went off and had the other, spent time with the family in Louisiana. Jaden came over and decided to spend time with his mother. And to her, she didn't know, like some people don't really know how to really let their guard down and show love, because everybody has always wanted money from Britney. So if that's the only way that she can, in her mind, see like, this is me showing my love and appreciation, that's just the way she's able to show it. And until she could figure out another way of showing it without it always having to be a money situation. So that's just how I'm looking at it. Through all of this. Now they said, adding to the emotional complexity, Britney was unaware that her other son, Sean Preston, was spending Christmas with Aunt Jamie Lynn and grandmother Lynn Spears in Louisiana. While surprised, she focused on being present with Jaden. Despite the unexpected nature of the reunion, the two shared calm, meaningful moments together, talking, laughing, and reconnecting without pressure or drama, saying there was no tension. According to the insider, Britney kept it loving and low-key, which is why they was like, well, Jaden came over and spent time with me and surprised me. How come Sean didn't? And they make it seem like that she was hurt by it. So I don't know. It just feels a little. Am I wrong for feeling like this is like I'm hearing two conflicted stories? Like Page Six is out here talking about like, yeah, Jaden came over, spent time with his mother. Sean decided to go spend time with his aunt and grandmother in a whole nother state, and then Britney throwing shade on social media. So is it a case of maybe there's a bit of truth in all of this? That it was like Jaden did surprise his mother and went to wanted to hang out with her for Christmas. She didn't know. So, they had like a low key somber, well, not somber, because somber is like depressing. It's like low key, like just a little laid back, whatever, regular situation. It wasn't nothing crazy. We just like spent a lot of Christmas together and all other stuff, and was like, well, where's your brother? Oh, he went to go spend time with the family. That could have been a trigger, because Britney doesn't really get along with her family members, especially with all the trauma that comes with that, with her sister being the see you next Tuesday that she is, from all the things that have come out in the past, including in that book where Kevin threw her under the bus with some stuff, which pissed her off. And then all of a sudden she had her come to Jesus moment that Kevin ain't nothing but, But I'm like, sis, we've been told you that. But we already know you're a spoiled little brat who only became famous on the back of your damn sister. So what else were you going to do? So it's like, we side on your wide back ass too. So there's that. So I think within all of this, me trying to break it on down, there might be truth in all of these stories. So, and I like the fact that they said that Christmas wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, staying open, and choosing love. And that's what it's got to be. It's got to be a day-by-day thing. And one thing about Virgos, we may plan things before we make a decision in our mind or whatever the case is, but it has to come from an organic place. It has to come from a place of like, it needs to feel not forced, not created, and that sort of thing. It needs to feel organic in our own way. So it's like, yeah, we planning to do this, but it needs to feel authentic is the word I was looking for. It needs to have a sense of authenticity. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Britney and her kid? Like I said, I just hope that they're able to work it out as a family, because especially when with a mother and the children, and them trying to unpack all the trauma of the past and just move forward with that. So yeah, I'll definitely be keeping abreast of this story. But in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Oh, because I was saying, because I said the same thing. I was like, where the hell have you been? And don't be coming in here with that shade. Someone came in just in time for the topics I like. Congrats on all the views you got from Mega Minaj, by the way. Oh, did you see that? You said it's already in your top 10 most viewed videos of all time. Yeah. Oh, and you checked? I was like, yeah, that video blew up. I gagged. I'm like, I went and something told me, it was like, do the video, post it up, and go to sleep. I went to bed, woke up the next morning. I'm like, what the fuck? My whole YouTube just went off. That's why I always say, you never know how things are going to play in your favor. Because on TikTok, the video hasn't gotten, it's gotten numbers, but not to the magnitude of like YouTube. So you never know when it comes to when you post things. Now your mom's birthday being 10 days ahead of mine. Yep, January 9th. Happy early birthday to mom. And my sister's the 13th. I told you I know a lot. And my friend Stephen Royster, shout out to him. I think today's his birthday or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Because I remember I did wish him happy. I think it was yesterday. So it's like I know a lot of Capricorns. It's funny. I know a lot of Capricorns, a lot of Virgos, and a lot of Leos. That's kind of like my whole situation. And a couple of I know a few Libras and Pisces. I got cousins that are Pisces. And my roommate was a Pisces. Is a Pisces. He said this is the same son that went on Instagram Live and said, "I'll tell y'all what's going on." That's another thing too. I do in the back of my head. I was trying not to go negative and be there. You know, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, if you believe that, for 2026, but being less messy. But since you put it out there, let's go along with it. It does feel very opportunistic to me, especially since that whole well has dried up over the child support. So now this is the new grift. I would not be surprised. You know, everybody's trying to get their grift on, you know, in this, you know, Trump economy. So I don't put nothing past nobody. All the Britney posts about her sons lately is Jaden spending time with her, but not. Yeah, that's why I said, like, I've been noticing that. The more you speak about your family, the more they sound like, yeah, very that. That's probably why I like that movie, because my family is a mess. That family is a mess. Justice for Terry. Oh, don't even remind me of that tea. Remember that bomb I dropped on y'all regarding Supreme, the notorious drug dealer who pow-powed 50 Cent and Kenneth Petty? I thought I was going to go to the grave with that tea. I genuinely send so much love to that girl. Like, I know it has been horrible, and I don't blame her for hating her family, parents, or whatever. Her mind has been so traumatized. Exactly. She's been through a lot. Not you comparing my family to soul food. And you said, yeah, sound like the green-eyed, light-skinned auntie, the successful one who was expected to play. Oh, you talking about Terry? Shout out to Vanessa Williams. I'm just saying, but yes, that one. My most listened to remix on my channel was my last remix, 2019 from Madonna's. Okay, look, I'm looking forward to the new Madonna album. So 2026 can get here fast enough. I'm rusty, but yeah, that was Terry, and because yeah, you know years since Soul Food has been released, everybody was like, Terry was right. A lot of people was hating on Terry back in the day, but we ain't know no better. It was the 90s, and I saw that in the movies. Say fuck my husband. Yeah, and now everybody looks at it was like Terry was right. Everybody's seen Terry now. Because Terry was the more sane way. Everybody else was a piece of shit. The grandmother was a piece of shit. Irma P. Hall. I love me some Irma P. Hall. Didn't she pass? What's her name? Mekhi Phifer and his wife was a bird. She was a bird for real. What was the character that Vivica played? Oh, she was a mess too. Always looking at her sister like she was a bank. But anyway, let's move back into the show and get into more mess. Let's talk about Stranger Things. So we are literally about 24 hours, I would say. No, less than 24 hours, because I think that's going to drop around 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow. The final season of Stranger Things is about to hit Netflix, as well as it's already sold out a lot of movie theater showings. I heard they added 3,000 more. If I'm not mistaken, it might be more than that. But I heard they added more shows in theaters because of the demand. So people are actually looking forward to this finale of Stranger Things. But if you ask me, I have been relatively disappointed with this 5th season. It is giving very much the same thing that I feared, that I felt when I watched the final season of Game of Thrones. It felt rushed. It felt like y'all were just being so quick to try to get to the finish line rather than really taking the time to give us a little something. But the funny enough, now it's like when I finally they showed the final trailer earlier today, and it was like they were giving us flashback clips of like throughout the seasons or whatever, and then we saw like it seemed like they're trying to center 11 again. as being like the girl who's gonna, take down the Upside Down, which I was relatively confused with all of the stuff going. It's like the Upside Down, and now it's a black hole, and there's a booty hole, and all kinds of different holes they've been throwing up in there. And it's like, what is happening? And then you got Max and Mike's sister doing a whole damn podcast in the Upside Down with a long ass 20-minute monologue instead of y'all jumping into y'all separate little holes to get back to your bodies. It's like, why are we having this full-on conversation right now? Can y'all start running? And then we had the what was his name? Jonathan and the other girl having a whole breakup, which I was confused by until Onyx sent me a whole thing about that on TikTok. And I'm like, this is a breakup? If that really is, this has got to be the worst writing under the sun. And then with all of that, and then the marshmallows got hard because it looked like they was in a world where everybody be drowned by marshmallow liquid. So it was a whole lot of stuff going on. I'm like, okay, so I see where all the money went for the visual aspect of the sets. But maybe y'all need to hire better writers because the Duffers, y'all have been a chop this season with y'all writing. And with all that being said, then came the big thing, which was in the last episode where Will decided, while the world is about to come to an end, to do a whole monologue about him trying to come out as a homosexual, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and not even necessarily the straight people, because they started with their woke mess. You already know you're going to get that crap. But for the most part, it was a lot of the gays that did not like the whole way that his coming out was handled. So let's get into the tea. The penultimate episode, because I had to set all that up before we got to, the penultimate episode of Stranger Things featuring Will Byers, Noah Schnapp, coming out as a homosexual to his friends has become the lowest rated episode in the series' history. Which I guess some people like, I don't care because look, they talking about overall the series garnered 34.5 million views on Netflix. So the show as a whole, yes, it's a hit, but as far as the episode goes, it was lowest rated, and the number being 57%. Now, as the show reaches its end, episode 7 of the 5th season, titled The Bridge, saw a number of key plots begin to tie up. Max, Sadie Sink, returning to the real world after she did a whole podcast with old girl. And the clan realized that Vecna is planning to merge Ultimate Dimension, the Abyss, with the human world. Because apparently it's not the Upside Down, now it's an Abyss. The only Abyss I know was the movie that was directed by James Cameron a million years ago. Now, arguably the biggest moment of the episode came when Will Byers nervously and was very long on the tooth with it, told his mother Joyce, Winona Ryder, and then his friends, including his best pal and crush, Mike Wheeler, played by Finn Wolfhard, that he is a homosexual in order to fight Vecna from using his insecurities against him. Which some people were saying, like, well, we already know he's gay. Why I gotta come out as gay? But it's saying, like, people, I think it was the metaphor of the fact that people look at gay as a weakness. People look at gay as something that is wrong, as immoral, as an abomination. All the things that tight-ass book of fables tells y'all, from that Sky Daddy y'all worship. With all that other stuff coming up in there and people using their bullshit as a weapon against you, that's why he decided to use that moment to be like, I'm okay with who I am. However, I'm going to say this. Didn't this show take place in the 80s? Back when the AIDS epidemic was doing what it was doing, and Reagan couldn't even, formulate the words to even say gay and equate AIDS and all this stuff back in the day. And so my issue with the whole coming out episode, even though it was a little convoluted and clunky, the way they did it, y'all were trying, and this has always been my bitch, stop trying to incorporate 2025 situations in a situation that how it was back in the day. Because you couldn't even get two men to kiss on TV in the 90s. Let alone in the 80s, somebody sitting down, their group of friends and their mother in the Midwest in the 80s, talking about you a whole full-fledged rounds of a maggot. That's not happening. So just the unrealisticness of it all is what rubbed me the wrong way with his coming out. So that's what kind of bothered me with that. But anyway, let's get into the story. So now listing all of the similarities he shares with his friends, including Dungeons and Dragons, bike races, and a shared love for Steve Martin. Will then tearfully added, I just don't like girls. I had this crush on someone, even though I know they're not like me. He continued looking straight at Mike, set in the hearts of Byler Shipper's eye of, alight. The 5-minute scene ended, was it 5 minutes? Felt like it was longer than that. The 5-minute scene ended with Joyce and her friends promising that they will love and support him regardless of his sexuality. very 2025, not 1987, whichever year it takes. But I think it was the mid to late 80s. Y'all can let me know in the comments what year this season actually takes place. It's a fairly unlikely conclusion to Will's big secret, given that the show is set in the 80s, like I said, but moving nonetheless. Plus, this is Stranger Things, is not exactly grounded in reality. Well, clearly, because the Upside Down and the Abyss and Vecna are not real things. Now, despite the moving scene striking a chord with some Levitical Plus fans, the episode has seemingly been review bombed on rating and review site IMDb. In the 6 days since its release, that would be on Christmas in the US, 26th of December in the UK, Episode 7 has received more than 100,000 ratings and reviews on IMDb and has accumulated an average score of 5.4 out of 10. The most common rating is 1 out of 10, followed by 10 out of 10. Now, with its 5.4 rating, The Bridge is the worst rated Stranger Things episode by far, and its nearest competitor being Season 2's 7th episode, The Lost Sister, which has a score of 6 out of 10. Now, hold on. I want to pull up this picture because this is the cackle for me, where it was like a meme that pretty much summed up my thoughts about this season of Stranger Things. This one cracked me up. It was like he was coming out. This is like Steve Rogers when he was skinny. Then there's when Steve Rogers became Captain America. Then the next picture was Steve Rogers when he got old. And then at the end, he's now black. So that was like, yeah, that's when you came out. I just don't like girls. That was like, that meme cracked me up. But anyway, so now what they said, on Rotten Tomatoes, poor reviews of episode 7 have driven down season 5's fan-rated score as a whole, and the reason now achieving a 54% rating. Every other season is fan-rated at above 86%. Now, while it's easy to assume that a bunch of those negative reviews may come from anti-Levitical Plus viewers, many have come from queer fans who felt Will's coming out scene was poorly written and haphazardly constructed. One person said the coming out scene was the worst thing I've ever witnessed in film history, and that's saying something because I've adored god-awful movies and shows. As someone in the queer community, there was absolutely no need for Will to ever confess in front of that many people, one viewer wrote on IMDb. The fact Will is basically forced to come out because of Vecna, he didn't choose to. Horrible. Poor Will has been through the ringer this whole series, a second wrote. A third said that the coming out scene felt forced and unnecessary, writing Will deserved a thoughtful, meaningful storyline, not something that stripped away his depth and turned years of buildup into a shallow and frustrating reveal. And it's probably because I don't think none of the Duffer brothers are gay, so they don't understand what that means to even do that. And quiet as it's kept, Noah Schnapp just happy that he got something to do after so many years of being sidelined and wasted, similar to Millie Bobby Brown's 11. Y'all been wasting her. Don't even get me start on that little brown skinned child with the shaved head. She is another one that's working my root canal nerve. Like, y'all really been working my root canal nerve with the way y'all been writing these characters this season. Because it just goes to show that probably similar to Game of Thrones, y'all had no real plan on how to land the plane regarding this show. So y'all just giving us a bunch of BS and a lot of fan service stuff. Also, with the constant reminding us of things I've already talked about because people are so busy not paying attention. They busy on TikTok or whatever while they got the episode on. And my thing is this, you miss a moment, you miss a lot. I'm not going to sit up in here and try to continuously remind people of situations and recap things while I'm watching the show when I'm actually paying attention. For those people who are not paying attention, y'all up Shit's Creek without a paddle. That's your problem. Rewind the damn episode back. There's a rewind, a fast forward, a skip, or whatever. They got them buttons on the remote control for a reason. So if you miss out on stuff, rewind it back. Or go back and watch a certain episode if you missed it. That's not our fault. Why do we got to suffer because y'all not out here paying attention? And my thing is this, because Noah Schnapp, his frontal lobe ain't fully developed. So if this was something on his part, was like, oh, I want a big prominent coming out scene. And I'm like, that wouldn't be realistic in the 80s. And I'm not expecting a documentary. That's not what I'm expecting. But I'm expecting if you're going to be doing something that's grounded in this world, at least be realistic in regards of how the 80s were. Also, how they was something that I tell you, y'all got some good ass eyes. Because with this whole thing, they was also talking about how Sadie Singh's character had Under Armour on her costume. And I'm like, Under Armour wasn't invented yet. So somebody clocked it, where it was just like she had Under Armour on under her wardrobe, and it's like the the people that were filming. I don't know who filmed the episode where might have been the Duffers or Sean Levy. I can't remember which one. But in the episode, they showed that she had Under Armour on, probably because it was cold on that damn set. And she probably was trying to stay warm or whatever the case was. And it was like, you wearing a piece of clothing that they should have probably made sure that it wasn't exposed. But that just goes to show people not paying attention to y'all spent all that time directing this season and y'all not paying attention to the detail that's going on the show. Okay. So, I was trying to say if I didn't repeat myself with one of the things. Okay. I don't know if I read this one, but if I did, I'll read it again. And they said the third said the coming out scene felt forced and unnecessary writing. Will deserved a thoughtful, meaningful storyline, not something that stripped away his depth and turned years of, okay, I did read that one, build up into a shallow and frustrating reveal. Others have hit out at this season's overall writing, dubbing it cringeworthy and awkward. Yes, that scene between Steve and, why I keep forgetting that girl name? Nancy. Steve and Nancy, that scene was awkward and clumsy too. Now, the forcing of everyone in the room to sit and be quiet and listen to every awkward word that came out of Will's mouth when most already knew and didn't give a fuck because they are trying to save the world, one wrote on X. One site pointed out this isn't about Will being gay. Nobody's offended by that. You don't need to pause the apocalypse to spell out character traits everyone already understands. You don't need to sacrifice pacing, tension, and logic to make a statement that adds nothing to the plot. These kids have stared down literal hell and lived to tell a story. Somehow, though, through all of that chaos, Will's sexuality was the one big secret nobody noticed. And you hit the nail on the head. That was the perfect assessment. Now, according to Stranger Things creators of Duffer Brothers, though, the scene is one they've been working on for a long, long time. You should have worked on it a little longer because it was a mess. Now, they said Will and his coming out scene was something that we've been building up to for a very long time. This is what Ross Duffer told Netflix's Dome recently. It's important that he comes to terms with this. Well, I think, whatever. They said once he's able to do that, he's heading into this final battle with a confidence and maturity that he hasn't had before. Because, you know, being a homosexual is your superpower. Just like I said, being in drag is a superpower for some. Now, Noah Schnapp, who came out as a homosexual himself in early 2023, recently revealed that the scene wasn't exactly rushed during filming process either. He explained that it took 12 hours to film and 12 hours to reshoot. Wow, so that, and it felt like it. He said, I read it every morning, every night for the month leading up to it. This is what he told Dom of rehearsing the big moment. And that allowed me on the day to just completely forget the script, completely forget about remembering my lines, and that just kind of poured out of me. And what I could focus on is is just tapping into that feeling and that emotion. So, like I said, the finale is going to be dropping tomorrow on the 31st. And January 1st in the UK. So if you got your tickets to go see it, go see it. If you're going to be at home, like I will be, well, I'm not going to be home. I'm going to be working. So I'll catch it on January 1st. And hopefully I'll be able to see it because I'm thinking about doing an episode the first of the new year if there's any good juice and gossip and stuff coming out. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you check out the episode? Have you caught up on Stranger Things? And what did you overall think of Will's coming out scene? Do you feel like everybody else saying like, it wasn't necessary? We all kind of knew. And to me, it was like, we wanted y'all to just focus on Vecna and all this other stuff. Now, if y'all really wanted to focus on Will and his story and coming out and building up to that and him coming to terms with his sexuality and possibly getting in a relationship with somebody, y'all should have played that up throughout the show. I'm not talking about just in this season. I'm talking about y'all had 5 seasons to develop Will's homosexuality and him coming to terms with that as a kid growing up in the Midwest in the 80s and that playing into that whole fellowship, along with them trying to fight the ups, you know, what's going on the upside down and Vecna and all this other stuff. Y'all could have played all that up, but y'all decided to just dump all of this in 8 episodes of a final season. So it's, in a way, I just feel like there was no build up to a lot of what we're saying. And it's not just the Will thing. It's just a lot of this season. It just felt like there was no build up, which is why I said at the end of the day, to me, if I had to choose between Welcome to Derry season 1 and Stranger Things season 5, Welcome to Derry slaps. It wipes the floor with this season of Stranger Things. But I'm gonna still watch because I've been invested. I'm invested into the show for the past, when does it come out? 10 years ago? I've invested 10 years of my life in this damn show. You think I'm gonna just give up on it now? I ain't no stopping me. I gotta find out how it all ends. If we're gonna be disappointed like that finale of Oh my God, I totally forgot. Game of Thrones, or is it really going to hit the ball out the park? We won't know until less than 24 hours from now. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. You said I'm rusty, but yeah, that one was terrible. Oh yeah. So we had to learn. Terry Jones, not that Terry. Terry Jones signed a 12-movie deal with Tubi and a 6-season TV show, 52 episodes each season with $250 million. She said, I no longer need to. Well, no, she's a big enough superstar, and hopefully it works out for you over on TikTok. This is exactly, he said, this is what it took a whole calendar year to film. It said one of the best finale episodes was for 6 Feet Under, especially the last scene where you see what happened with all the characters. Yeah, that was a good season. And you said, or series too. Yeah, maggots are triggered over Will's child plays. I mean, we already know a lot of y'all in the closet, including Nick Fuentes, who told me he gonna vote for Gavin Newsom because he cute. But meanwhile, he a whole virgin, ain't never been around coochie. He said, I know you don't like her, but Grace Randolph brought up some good points. In the 1987, there's no way everyone in that room would have been perfectly okay with it. The AIDS, hello, and I literally said that. And I don't know how old the Duffer brothers are. They're probably too young to even, or maybe they might be in my same age range, but whatever. Y'all really asking us to suspend a lot of belief in that whole situation. I said it was. A lot of people was not being out of the closet because there was such a stigma around the gay community. Especially because a lot of men from the South and the Midwest were moving to places like New York and San Francisco and a lot of those places where the AIDS epidemic was prominent. Yeah, Monsters Aside, the setting took place in a period where coming out wasn't acceptable, especially with the AIDS epidemic being huge at the time. Context matters, and that's literally exactly the point, especially if you're going to base it off different time periods. Important to note that there's also a small minority of Byler shippers who took part in the review bombing because they're bitter a ship never became whatever. It's like, first of all, just because y'all want it to happen doesn't necessarily mean the people who created the show are going to give the fans what they want. It's not about y'all. That's, at the end of the day, that's the Duffer Brothers creation. They created the show. Mike is not a gay character. Not to mention the faux progressive movement in Hollywood makes these kind of movements feel authentic. Well, I think you meant inauthentic, and wants diversity points as seem woke when they're actually not. Yeah, because a lot of times, well, I said, like, there's a lot of people in Hollywood that are conservative, but try to pretend like they're like these progressive, liberal, Democrat types. But a lot of them work in these circles, like they want you to stay in the closet because they feel like it's going to ruin their money, their bottom line, your career. They tell you all the things. Because there's a lot of closeted homosexuals in Hollywood that are famous that y'all like. And I'm not going to be messy and start outing them. So I had a similar issue with Fate, the Wink saga, where the Terror came out as a lesbian, but not only it came out of nowhere, they're fairies and live in a magical dimension. Why not make being LGBTQ plus the norm there? He said there are so many plot holes this season. The family of the missing kids and yeah, whatever happened to Derek's? Where's Derek's parents? Where also is Where's also Mike and oh my God, what's her name? Where's the father? Because remember, we saw the mother came and killed the Demogorgons in the hospital. Where's the father? Didn't he get hurt too? So where's he? And then about Max has no reaction to Hopper still being alive. Nancy, Jonathan, and Holly surviving an explosion. Yeah, that was just this season's giving me a migraine. So there's so many plot holes this season. And you said, oh yeah, you put that twice. Let's hope this app. I don't have high hopes, but I'm gonna just go along with it. You said Todd Roderick. Why did I thought it was? I was like, wait a minute, is that Todd Nicole? He said Todd Roderick. Sorry about all the loud farting. I had a lot of onion rings earlier. Okay, well, we can't smell you through a computer. Important to note that a small minority of review bombers have been Byler shippers. We're not happy with Phantom. Are we going? Is this deja vu? It's a damn 10 years too damn long. I don't know, but I don't think because Billy Bobby Brown was like, wait, no. Noah Schnapp was like 12 when he did Stranger Things. Now he's like 21, 22 or something. I don't know, but I don't think I've ever seen Max's mom. No, we haven't seen Max's mom. We've seen Nancy's mother. But where's her father? And so let's not forget that the last episode has 40-minute. Jesus Christ. It also starts with a crawl, which would probably take. You mean, they trying to pull that Disney Plus trick where y'all spend more, like the episode is 20 minutes, but it's like literally 35 minutes and it's previously on and that takes 5 minutes. But it's like, we don't need a previously on. I just watched the last episode. And then you got this long ass crawl. I mean, there's the credits and then they give you like this corny ass post credit scene. It's like, this episode was 20 minutes once you take all the stuff out. I tell you, they're gonna piss me off. I already know it. And I know a lot of people gonna be bitching and moaning when they go to the movies. But I'm like, look, this is what you paid for. In the words of Rihanna. Also found it weird that he came out to the whole group. Will has never had a conversation with Steve, Robin's girlfriend, or the boy. First of all, it's 20 goddamn people in that episode. Why they got 17 characters? Then they start killing people off. Sorry for commenting twice. It didn't pop up in the corner of your screen, so I assume it didn't go through. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really feeling this season so far. Season 5 is terrible. Agreed. All right, y'all. Now, speaking of people who we're going to go from a terrible show to somebody who had a terrible moment of lapse in judgment. Let's talk about Chappell Roan. So, Chappell Roan is being dragged on social media because apparently she gave a tribute to Brigitte Bardot. So, for those who are not aware, Brigitte Bardot was an actor, also an animal activist sort of thing. But once people found out that Brigitte Bardot passed away, there was tea that was being spilled that she was a racist and a homophobe. So Chappell Rowan had jumped on the line and had given her a tribute, saying that she was inspired by her for one of her songs. And then people decided to eat her up on social media. So lesbian singer Roan, known for hits like Pink Pony Club, HOTTOGO, and The Subway, which I'm starting to see when I'm on the subway. I'm seeing a lot of ads about the subway on the subway. I'm like, does she have a partnership with one of the apps or whatever? Because there are advertisements about that song on the subway, and it makes sense because of New York City. But anyway, so they said that she praised the late French icon following Bardot's passing at 91 this week, saying Bardot inspired one of her popular songs. Now Roan has apologized upon hearing about Bardot's political views. While Bardot was known as a boundary-breaking sex symbol in the 50s and 60s, after she retired from acting, she became a fervent animal rights activist, but she also routinely spoke out against immigrants, Muslims, homosexual people, and victims of sexual harassment. Now, in the story, wait, hold on, because I actually got receipts on that because I want to show you all that. Now, in her story, she basically said the following. She was like, she was my inspiration for Red Wine Supernova. Rest in peace, Miss Bardot. Well, she does mention Brigitte Bardot in the song. Now, Roan's hit song, Red Wine Supernova, opens with the lyrics, she was a playboy, Brigitte Bardot. She showed me the things I didn't know. I was like, yeah, I remember because I know the song. But Bardot has a long and unfortunate history of political speech that includes hatred toward marginalized people. In 2021, she was handed her 6th fine by French courts for inciting racial hatred. After being fined twice before in 1997 and 1998, Bardot was fined 30,000 francs for inciting racial hatred based on a book she wrote that criticized Muslims' ritual killing of sheep and lamented that my country, France, my homeland, my land is again invaded by an overpopulation of foreigners, especially Muslims. Bardot's 4th fine came in 2004 for another book she wrote in which she said she opposed the Islamization of France and spoke out against racial mixing. Yeah, because if you go to France, there's a lot of Muslims, there's a lot of Islamic people that live there. There are a lot of Black people that are in France. The book contains a section attacking what she called the mixing of genes and praised previous generations who she said had given their lives to push out invaders, according to the BBC. She received her sixth fine. Well, apparently them fines wasn't phasing her because she just kept going in and letting half. Now, she received her sixth fine for inciting racial hatred in 2021 after saying the Hindu Tamil population of the French island La Réunion is natives who still have savage genes who are still using the cannibalism of past centuries. Bigot Bardot's political opinions weren't limited to immigrants and Muslims. In her 2003 book, A Cry in the Silence, Bardot called gay people cheap, rhymes with maggots, or circus freaks, and said contemporary gays should be more like the Levitical Plus community in the 50s and 60s who kept their sexuality a secret. She said current gay men jiggle their bottoms, put their little fingers in the air, and with their little castrato voices moan about what those ghastly heterosexuals put them through. You mean like you, bitch? Now, in 2018, she criticized the hashtag #MeToo movement, saying the vast majority of women accusing men of being hypocritical and ridiculous. Well, I guess here's the thing. When you look like this on the right, I guess you would be talking about criticizing men would be hypocritical. Because who's trying to fuck something that looks like that? When she was a hot thing back in the day. And there's a method to my madness of why I chose that picture of her, in case y'all didn't know. Now, lots of actresses try to play the tease with producers to get a role, she said. And then, so we will talk about them. They say they were harassed. I was never a victim of sexual harassment, and I found it charming that men told me I was beautiful. I had a nice little backside, probably because you was spreading your legs for a role. I mean, it'd be interesting to know if you was getting those parts because you were talented or because you knew how to bring your knee pads to every damn audition. So now I will say this. After all this has been put out about Bigot Bardot, Chappell of Roan issued an apology. So, of course, you had to bring the receipts. So she said, holy ish, I did not know all that insane shit. Ms. Bardot stood for OBS. I do not condone this. Very disappointed to learn. So, of course, you know, there was two minds regarding the situation. Some people like, yeah, a lot of people didn't know about it. And that's the truth. A lot of people were not aware of a lot of the stuff that Bigot Bardot had said until the announcing of her passing. And then I saw like my timeline was flooded where I started seeing stuff like people were pointing out a lot of the problematic things that she has said over the years, the Islamophobic rhetoric, the anti-queer rhetoric, being very, very much victim blaming people who came out during the Me Too movement and were speaking about the harassment they received on sets and that sort of thing. And you have this woman just saying all kinds of ignorant stuff for attention. And then I remember somebody telling me that she had said something about, wasn't about one of her kids or something or another, or like she was a horrible mother. I don't remember what the thing was. If y'all remember what it was, definitely. Oh yeah. I think Robert might have put it in here. Let me see if it was mentioned. I don't know. He says, so I'm a product of a wanted pregnancy, but my mom still loves me. But to read that she compared her pregnancy to a cancerous thing, I just hope her estranged son knows he is loved, that he is not. I guess you meant like he's not a mistake or whatever. Oh, a cancer disease. So yeah, she was saying all kinds of crazy, controversial things at the time of, you know, when she was alive. So rotten piss, bitch, because we don't see it here for you. Now the thing is, I'm of two minds about this with or rest in piss is what I should have said. Rest in piss, bitch. Piss, bitch. Another one in the back or casket. Me trying to remix Katy Perry song. But yeah, with that being said and all this other stuff, it's just unfortunate that when you're a fan of somebody, I'm not saying I am, but just in general, when you're a fan of someone, and this is the crap they come out and say, like, that's why I think it's hard for people when it's like you try to separate the art from the artist. And it's hard, the last one it's been hard to do that as of late. But it's like, yeah, on one hand, it's like, well, you should have known better. You should know about all these people that you take inspiration from. You should be looking into your inspirations when it comes to using them. But it's like, who's sitting up in there whenever if I'm looking and inspired by something, be it a painting or an art piece or a picture or some piece of music I heard, are people really out there being like, well, I'm inspired by this artist, but also let me sit and take the time to really dig into this person's past and see if there was anything negative that they possibly have said that I won't get dragged about because I'm a fan of whatever it was that they were about as an artist. I don't think a lot of people are looking at it that way. So I think people are a little too hard on Chappell with this whole situation. It's not like she was aware of what Biggie Bardot was saying and doing and just was like, fuck all of y'all. I'm going to just be inspired and use her. Anyway, Madonna has been inspired by Biggie Bardot and a lot of her visuals during the, oh my God, what's the name of that album? I always forget the name of when Kylie Minogue went R&B. You know, the song where they had chocolate and all of them on there. I don't know why I always forget that I don't know why I'm thinking Box of Chocolates. First of all, Box of Chocolate was a Kevin Aviance album that I actually bought physically when I went to Virgin Megastore a million years ago. But when she got with that album, there was very Brigitte Bardot coded with the visuals. So many people have been inspired by Brigitte Bardot in regards of how her overall look and everything was. That doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, that was back in the day before we was even aware of who she was about and what she was doing. Body language. I was like, I don't know why I always forget the name of that damn album, even though it was a good record. But yeah, so I totally get it. We got to stop being so damn hard on people. It's like at the end of the day, people are human. She realized that she messed up. She took the thing down. And as I said about Biggie Bardot, bitch, you could rest in piss for all I care, because you were not a nice person. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Chappell Roan having to come out and issue a whole apology regarding and she's not the only one that's getting the backlash. I've heard there's other celebrities that are getting it too. So excuse me. Yeah, there's a lot of celebrities that have been coming out and giving their shout outs to Biggie Bardot when they're being dragged over it. Just read the tea leaves. Funny enough, I put up a Biggie Bardot rest in peace thing, and then when I started hearing about the tea, I immediately took my shit down because I was like, oh, wait a minute, no. And then I went and I did the research and I started posting the thing on the line, and then I saw a lot of people was corroborating the stories. My friend Sister Faze went and put a whole tea about Biggie Bardot and some stuff. So Biggie Bardot was before my time. I'm not really aware of the subject. I mean, I've heard of her, but yeah, I just think that's all I got to say on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right. So we got a lot of... I find it really silly that Chappell had to state that she was an inspiration for the song as if it wasn't obvious by the name drop she gives her 10 seconds into the song. She set herself up. Okay. Oh yeah, I read that one already when we did the thing. It says she could just do a Google search. Yeah, there's that too. Chappell gets on my nerves. She's a prime example of liberal white women that I can't stand, all for equality, but likes and buddy up with all types of cis and phobes they swore to fight against. Yeah, she's been kind of being called out for a lot of problematic things she's been latching herself to. And problematic people. Olivia Rodrigo also name drops Bardot in a song released in 2023, the same year Chappell released. Yeah, but you didn't hear Olivia come out with her tribute. This is why I don't trust them nor take the because I already know what you're them and there. I know what that's referring to. And he ain't talking about non-binary. Allyship, seriously, time and time again, they show that their activism feels performative. You know what else grinds my gears about Chappell Rowan? Oh, because I changed her name. She said she wasn't on Instagram anymore and had the app deleted. She logged out just to pay trip. She logged on just to pay. A lot of know who sit up here and say that they don't have Instagram and they deactivate. Child, that shit's still active. The thing about Meta is like, even if you deactivate it, they always give you the option of like, okay, it's dormant, but you could bring it back at any time. They don't fully delete. That's why I always hate when they be like, oh, they just deactivate it, like as if they fully got rid of it. No, it's still there. They just put it on dormant until they're ready to come back. My mom called me her miracle baby because she lost a couple of babies before she had me. Then, with me being born with epilepsy, she worried I might not survive. And clearly you did, Gloria Gaynor. She just seemed fake to me. I like a couple of her songs, but that was the thing that turned me off about her, was that she just whines a lot. It's like, girl, shut up. Body language, I was listening to it this morning. We have a modern day Brigitte Bardot. Kylie Minogue can master her look good. The body language era and Kylie Christmas fully wrapped. Plus, one of your friends said her management did a good job. But with the whole Brigitte Bardot said, I'm hiding it from us because of her animal philanthropy. Yeah, she damn sure did, because we didn't know a lot about it. Or probably because we don't pay attention to French media and French politics. So whatever's going on in France, that's not affecting us. But now that she's dead, I guess people are talking about it. If I'm inspired by someone or something, I do my research. I watch documentaries. I read things. I don't just go by things people post. Yeah, or just being on the surface about it. Like, your opinion can't, your inspiration can't be surface based. There's wicked drama. I mean, besides the fact that whole Cynthia Erivo Ariana Grande friendship thing was annoying me. I mean, I don't have anything to say about the Wicked. I didn't know there was drama with Wicked. All I know is it's available to watch at home. It came out today on digital. You probably have to pay $20 to rent it and $30 to buy it. If I'll even expose myself. I was listening to Bardot's music the day before the news came out that so you probably were you not aware that she, was a bigot? That's why I changed the name, Bigot Bardot. Shout out to my friend Michael T, because that's where I stole it from. I was like, damn, I'm mad I didn't come up with that. Because then it took me, so I'm like, did you spell her name wrong? No. I was like, and that's the perfect name to call her, Bigot Bardot. So I'm be using it. So I didn't know she died, but I didn't know about her bigotry. Yeah, she died like, yesterday or the day before? That's what I'm here for, to tell y'all the news that y'all may have missed. Okay, y'all. Now, speaking of news that a lot of y'all may have missed, I was like, oh wait, hold on, because now things are starting to refresh over on the YouTube. Hopefully it's not gonna mess up this thing, because I got clips and stuff to go with this whole Ginger Minj thing. So let's talk about Ginger Minj, because apparently I don't know what was going on, but apparently Ginger Minj shows violence amongst her All-Stars 10 fan, or peers, I should say, and it's been getting messy. Everybody's had discourses on it. Mistress Isabel Brooks had Georges on her show this week, and I cackled over that video. We don't get into what they had to say about that. Also, Monet Exchange jumped on the line and was giving her opinion. Like, everybody's got an opinion on this tea, and including me. That's what we're going to talk about over So it's like, there was the other day, all of a sudden I saw Aja was going in on her, and I have the clip of Aja saying what she had to say about Ginger, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I didn't even know what the whole point of it all was, but apparently it all started with her going on Kelly Mantle's show. Shout out to Kelly Mantle, because when she be doing her little opening, hello, I'm Kelly Mantle. Hello, I'm Kelly Mantle. Like, when she does that soft southern thing, it be cracking me up, the way she does a little thing, and then there's like that wind chiming type sound that goes in when you watch it. If y'all have not watched Kelly Mantle's show, definitely check it out. That is a funny ass show. But anyway, and she does good interviews, because I know a lot of these Drag Race girls be getting all lost in the shuffle or whatever. But Kelly Mantle is definitely someone y'all need to be paying attention to. But apparently, her going on that show and doing an interview, it got everybody started over there in All Stars 10, because Ginger Minj was like, well, none of the girls was giving her. They were. I guess she was saying in so many ways they were being fake for the cameras and that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's get into the overall tea of it all. So, the RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10 girls are beefing with the season's winner, Ginger Minj, and it's getting a little messy. Now, Ginger, as y'all know, was crowned the winner of All Stars 10 earlier this year, and it always been a somewhat controversial win. And months on, the drama around All Stars 10 continues. So the beef appears to have started when Ginger appeared, as I said, on Kelly Mantle's show. The episode debuted on Christmas Eve, saw Ginger discuss getting a call to go on All Stars. Now, here's the thing. Shout out to some of y'all over there, because I had to dig this up. Shout out to Meg Valor over there on Twitter. Because when I found this clip they put together, it was like, Ginger out here lying. And the shady part of it is that when Mistress had Georges on the show, on her show, you haven't seen it, watch that video on Mistress's channel. They went and called Bosco and asked her, because apparently Georges said that Ginger was being fake. Like, they wasn't really keying with each other during the show. But once they got close to the finale, when it was just them two as being the top, like they were going to be going head to head for the crown, Then Ginger was kind of putting a hand in hers, being like, oh, I knew it was going to be us two at the end. But apparently, according to George's, she said the same thing to Bosco when they was outside smoking a cigarette. So you was playing both sides of the situation. This is according to George's. That's what she said. So I'm going to take her word for it because they was in the trenches together. So, and they even called up Bosco on the phone and was like, just let you know you on the live, you being recorded. And they were like, is Ginger a liar? And they went on to say like, she is. But I have the clip because Ginger remember when they did the thing with Entertainment Weekly where Ginger was talking about how she first met, how she got the call at Drag Race. She said it because she was on tour with Denali. And then when she got on Kelly Mantle's show, she said something completely different. Well, hold on, because I come with a receipt. So we're going to play that clip, and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold.
The funniest thing was when Denali and I got the call to do it, we were working a cruise together.
Oh, really?
So both of us at the show that night were just like in our head, in our own world. And I was like, girl, you okay? And she goes, yeah, are you okay? And I said, yes, but how okay? And she said, I'm really okay. So then we went and smoked and talked about some things.
Okay, so that's what she said there. Now she went on Kelly Mandel show with a whole new body and no shade. When I saw Ginger, it took me a minute to realize it was her. Because when I did the Drag Race season 18 red carpet situation, when she walked in, the face was beat, but she wasn't in full geesh. And when I saw her, I was like, is that a bag of chips? Like I was sitting there and I was like, bag of chips walking in. So I was telling to my friend. Then when she got fully dressed, I realized it was Ginger. Some people out here said that don't even look like Ginger. That looks like a Pandora box. I was like, y'all are shady. Out here saying that she looked like Pandora box. I like Pandora, but just saying. But anyway, let's get to the other clip where she said something completely different over there on the Kelly Mantle show. Now, please hold for that.
I really thought I was going to die.
Wow.
And I didn't know if there was anything else for me.
Interesting, yeah.
So as I was wallowing in my self-pity, just kind of laying there day after day, just waiting for whatever worse to happen was going to happen, I got the phone call to come back.
That is wild. It would happen just
out of the blue.
Lowest.
I was.
So there's that. So apparently the story done changed. I can't with that somber ass music though. So then with all that being said, she basically said all of that stuff. And then, about how she was going to die. And then she said she didn't feel supported by her castmates and the fans' criticism of All Stars 10 and said that the only people that really checked in on her was Mistress Isabel Brooks and Lydia Butthole Collins. So I do have that clip. Now let's go over to Kelly Mantle's channel and let's play that clip. It probably did rewind a little bit because, when I be having stuff waiting for a minute, the thing wants to refresh. Hopefully it won't start playing ads in the middle of it, but let's play the clip and then we'll come back and talk. Here's receipt number 3. Please hold for that.
But you can't force them.
No, not at all.
So I got that phone call.
Because that happened at a time that you were probably not even thinking about it, or at least
I genuinely thought I was going to die. I thought that was the end of my time.
Wait, did it rewind? Because it was wait, hold on. I think it went way back too far because I think it was around the 30-minute mark.
File your taxes 100% free.
Now I knew it was going to play an ad.
In a safe space where I could be vulnerable with them and I could share this experience.
Hold on.
As a guest judge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was
he was still hanging out.
It's about Santino.
How new. But when it aired, people at the time were like, oh my God, what is this? This isn't Drag Race. This is terrible.
Yeah, they didn't want to change.
But it has aged like a fine wine.
Takes time to marinate.
Takes time to marinate.
Mistress Isabel Brooks.
A real one.
A real one?
She's a real one. Okay, here's the tea. Y'all want to talk about All Stars 10 and how I have been treated. A lot of the girls in person on All Stars 10 were very kind to my face, were very supportive of me in the room.
Yeah.
To the point where I felt like I was in a safe space where I could be vulnerable with them and I could share this experience. And then once it started airing, they just started one by one kind of defecting and going, oh, I can get more traction on this post if I trash Ginger, or if I say this about her, or I'll wait until next week and then I'll say this. And Mistress Isabel Brooks is one of two, Lydia is the other one, who every single week that I was on that television show would call me or text me and tell me, bitch, you looked great. You were amazing. You deserved this. Fuck what people are saying. Or they would call and check up on me to be like, there's a lot of discourse going on. How are you?
Interesting, yeah.
So whatever the season itself was, which it was difficult being in that situation with Mistress, there are moments in that first Untucked for Snatch game where I literally dissociate. I go to another place, and to the point where something happened that has never happened to me on Untucked ever. They yelled cut to come and check to see if I was okay.
Really?
And I was like, I'm good. But Mistress was like hammering me right there. Like, no, name him. Say who you think is in the bottom. Say.
Right.
And
you just disassociated.
I had promised myself that I wasn't going to worry about anybody else but me this time, because in pageants and in auditions for movies and theater or in Drag Race in the past, I've been so focused on what other people are doing that I lose focus of me. And this time I was like, just don't do it. And so I completely dissociate.
Tune that out.
Well,
and not get involved.
Yes, but it's not always the healthiest thing, and I'm working on that.
Well, it's not.
For sure.
It kept you like eye on the
It kept me
prize.
focused for sure.
Exactly.
But it also kind of put me into this mental place where I had to struggle to get back to making TV.
Okay, so y'all pretty much got the point with that, because I was like, we don't need to play that whole clip. Now, with all that being said, of course, that got the party started, and a lot of the queens from that season got pissed, and they jumped on the line, and they decided to go in and let have on Ginger, including Aja. So we got a couple of them. We're going to play that Aja clip. Hold on, I told you it's going to be clip heavy today. We're going to play that clip, courtesy of Reddit, and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold. Hold on, let me wind, because I don't hear it.
Bitch, I don't know you like. Yeah, I didn't call that bitch. I didn't give a fuck. Bitch, I don't know you like that. Fuck, I look like calling you. Like, so you upset because people wasn't calling you to check in on you? Girl, who the fuck checked in on me? You a bitch ass didn't check up on me? So you didn't. Be real. Be real. Be real. Nobody was checking in on you because you wasn't checking in on anybody else either.
So that's what she said. It's like, yeah, why am I going to check up on somebody that's not checking up on me? Like, we not cool like that. And that's that real New York type ish, that how we are. It's like, I'm not going to jump on the line and call you out and be, trying to give you encouragement when you wasn't giving that to me. We were not even cool like that in real life. So when you sit up here talking about that we being a certain way on TV, okay, I'm going to play the game because I'm on TV, but also I'm not going to be fake and try to act like we good Judies when you're not giving me that same type of energy in real life. So now Aja wasn't the only one that came out against her. Diabetica also came out against Ginger. Now, according to Ginger's interview with Mantle on Friday, Diabetica, who also was on All Stars 10, said, I call bullshit. Daya said multiple girls have reached out to Ginger. She also said she stopped reaching out because every conversation that was had always ended up only being about you. Now, in a follow post, Daya added, don't try to act like no one had your back. I think people just started to get tired of your pity party. All Stars 10 Georges she got on the line just so she could chime in on this shit. So now Georges reactivated her Twitter account to add, you literally had her back. You literally had her back. You know how she told, like she always done smoked the blunt on the same day. Drag Race's Plain was messy, because she was like, Plain Jane then chimed in with her typical sharp humor writing back when it was bigger too. Talking about her big back. Now, Acid Betty, the other Betty, later reshared Daya's message, adding ditto on Instagram. And then, of course, we already talked about the whole Aja situation, but I should also follow up with this. Now, Aja did jump in with this post where it says here, I don't know if you can read it, but that's what I'm here for. Now, she said, just to clarify real quick, I was also dealing with a lot during filming, and the people who are actually close to me did check in on me. I was not expecting a bunch of people to reach out because that would have been unrealistic. The clip that's going around is from an Instagram live where I was literally finding out what was going on through the comments while I was live. I was just being honest about how I felt in the moment. I still have not seen the interview and I do not plan to. It does not really interest me. For me personally, it was not that serious. I do understand that some people may feel away or were caught off guard by the statement, which is valid. At the same time, I do think it's kind of wild to say nobody checked in when people actually did. And here's the thing, I do feel like that Aja has a right to speak. First of all, if I'm in a live, it's like, and that happens here too. Like if I'm in the middle of a live and somebody says, oh, breaking news, this, and this is going down. And it's like, I don't have time to research and prepare on what's going on or get the nuance. So it's like, I open up the thing, I read it, and I react based off of what is popping up in the situation at the time. And then later on, I can expand on it, which I did with the Tyler Perry thing. When I was doing a live, I broke the Tyler Perry story here because it came out while I was on the live. And then now, because there was more to add, I expanded upon what we had learned in the last video. So I totally understand that. And look, Aja was there in that pressure cooker known as the All-Stars 10 drag race with them queens. So why can't she speak on based off of just stuff people telling her in the live, like, oh, this is what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna speak out on it. I'm gonna give my opinion and just keep it moving. And people get mad at her over that. It was like, but y'all weren't there. Like this whole team this and team that, shove that shit up your ass. So now, last but certainly not least, Cuckoo herself, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, entered the chat. And I got her post because it's a pretty long one. Now on December 29th, which was yesterday, Cynthia Lee Fontaine also blasted Jinder for her comments on Mantle's show. So yeah, she posted like this long post, which I'm definitely going to read to y'all. Now, I'm not going to windmill on Cynthia too much because I know English is not her first language, and y'all know how I get on people with their grammar. So I'm going to give you a little grace with this. I'm not going to windmill you on that because I get it. So now, referencing all the inconsistencies and the inaccuracies from the interview, Fontaine disputed Jinder's account that people weren't supporting her. She said, it seems you totally forgot all the text and put in caps all the text. Now we get back to small letters. Messages I sent you this year giving you encouragement and support. So her long videos, this is what she said, and this was on her Instagram stories, saying, Jinder, I have the opportunity to see the interview at the Kelly Mantle show. From all the inconsistencies and inaccuracies you talk on this interview, the one that got my attention was when you said that a lot of contestants on the season stopped talking to you, and when the cameras were on, they were talking to you, but off camera, the story was different. It seems you totally forgot all the text messages I sent you this year, giving you encouragement and even support. That's the truth, and I have evidence because the one who decided to isolate for the rest of the cast was you. RuPaul granted you with the crown. This is not the time for lies and conspiracy theories because you are looking to portray, well, I think she meant portray, but she put portrait. Looking to portrait a victim character is not accurate to be likable or have visibility in front of the fans. This is not a winner behavior. Also, using position of power and privilege to spread lies, harming others with your words is vicious and out of the place. I wish you the best, but I thought for a moment you would be changing for good, and that was not the case. Very disappointed. Please look for peace and stability. As a winner and drag artist, you should be led by looking for unity and respect for this artistry that has been under attack by the government, religious groups, and conservatives. Have a good night and good life and do better. Ooh. Now, she probably had to translate it from, in English, but look, she's absolutely right. It's like, Coogler don't be hurting nobody. She don't be out here bothering nobody, and here, Ginger out here trying to play the victim. And that's why I think a lot of the girls was upset about it. And then her going around, well, I just came and I showed up and I didn't care what other people thought. And I wasn't the one that was out here constructing the show for me to win. That might not be the case, but we know that production clearly had an agenda because they wanted you to win. So they were shifting the situation for you to win. And even George has brought this up when you and her were lip syncing. They said quiet as is kept. They thought that Kerry Colby mopped the floor with you during that lip sync, but they had a narrative to portray. Because quiet as is kept, I was like, I like Kerry, but I actually wanted Denali to come back. But they chose how they chose, and I felt like y'all did that because y'all wanted to do Kerry dirty. So y'all had a narrative to play on this damn show. And y'all be making it so obvious with the production choices that y'all make. It's like, we know the show was produced, but don't make it so obvious that you're producing that even a person that don't know shit about production can clock y'all over that. So that's the overall argument. But you trying to play dumb, well, it wasn't my plan and I wasn't doing all that. It's like, come on now, we could all see it with all the rose-colored glasses that we done took off, that they were really trying to structure this show for you to win. And even Jordan said at one point when I was dancing and I was doing all my thing on the stage, Rue's eyes clearly was on Jenna the whole. So we all know this was a game that y'all was trying to skew up from the beginning. Which is why I think a lot of times people get so irritated with this damn show. But I get it. It's not. It's a competition show. But at the end of the day, it's more or less a reality show disguised as a competition. Now, they also said that more drama has come out elsewhere in the Drag Race sisterdom. Now, Irene the Alien and Denali, who are both competing on All Stars 10, have shared a 2012 tweet from RuPaul that reads, "Hard to remain patient with friends who focus solely on their own crucifixion. Get off the cross, girl. We could use the wood." Oh, I remember that line. I remember that tweet. Now, Irene has since said that she was just posting a meme for Christmas. Okay, girl, we know what you were doing because you messy too. And I truly don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Now, a video shared by Mistress Isabel Brooks, also from All Stars 10, has shown the cast group chat, which shows Bosco as having removed Ginger. The chat also sees Georges as, whose number is that? Indicating she hasn't saved Ginger's number in her phone in the first place. So the girls are being messy. We are living for the shenanigans and the entertainment. I know I am. And look, this is all happening 2 days before we're about to get the new season of Drag Race, season 18. But they all have a right to feel how they feel. If you're going to sit up out here and say something on Kelly Mantle's show that's a lie, I believe all the other girls have a right to give their side of the story. Now, it's going to be real interesting because that was only the first part of a 2-part interview that Kelly Mantle has done. I believe the second part is supposed to come out on January 7th. So I'm going to wait around. I'm going to watch that episode, and I'm sure there's more mess that's going to be coming out from that episode, the second part, and we'll have more grist for the mill to bring up on this show regarding what else Ginger had to say in that Kelly Mantle interview. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this episode? Whose team are you on? Are you team Ginger? Let me stop trying to be Drag Race messy. Are you team Ginger Minj? Are you team Ginger? Hashtag Team Ginger Minj, or whatever that stupidness they be doing with the stupid teams whenever we get to the finale. So let me know how y'all feel about all of this mess in the comments down below. All right, so now let's see what the people are saying. Ginger has always come across stuck up and entitled to me. I never liked her. Well, I never felt any kind of way about her. I was just like, she's just there. I mean, I told you, I was like really 2 feet away from her. Not even, probably even closer during when she was at the premiere party. Mistress said her and Ginger never talked on the phone. I'm sorry you won All Stars, Georges. Oh, all this could have been avoided if they okay. But some people feel that they weren't going to crown George because of that little game that they played where her and Mistress did Carry Dirty. I'm like, but I thought we liked drama and shenanigans and mess. Isn't that why we watch Drag Race? So, what was the line that Jordan said something? Well, I don't think she meant anything by it, but I did laugh out loud. Where she was, it was nice that they gave the crown to somebody with autism and got special needs or whatever the case was. So I was like, I know she didn't mean nothing shady, but it was just the way she put it. Maybe she's like one of those girls with autism where it's just like, y'all lack social cues. Maybe she's one of those. When I said Ginger isn't likable, I don't think she deserves. Child, well, look, get in line because a lot of people felt like that. And we did have a whole field day trying to break down all the shenanigans that was going on with the show and that whole controversy with All Stars 11. But look, I guess at the end of the day, the producers don't care. They're being talked about. It's going viral. That's what they like. All that, virality apparently is more important than really doing a quality show where it's about competition. But I am looking forward to seeing this new season of Drag Race. You said, I love Georges, but I think Bosco deserved to win. thoughts on the 10-minute. I told you, I thought we talked about that. I saw a little bit of it. I didn't really watch it. All I saw, I watched a little bit of it, but I turned it off because I was like, this is giving me what I already saw, like the intro thing. We saw that at the Drag Race party premiere thing that I did earlier this month, where they showed the girls coming in the entrance and some of the stuff they were saying, and that was like I think it was Mark Malkin from Variety, who co-hosted with T.S. Madison. They used that footage from the screens as a way to introduce the queens of the show on the stage at the season 18 premiere. So I had so much audio of that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, I'm gonna just wait until the premiere to see the full situation, because I don't really like watching a lot of the 10-minute previews. I just think it's stupid that they released that. But they need to stop releasing it, to be honest. And I did say, like, one of my friends that was there with me, my friend David, he was saying the same thing. He was like, I wish they would just drop the episode. Like, don't even let nobody even see a preview of the premiere episode, which is kind of what I wish they would have done. It's like what they did to Roxy last year, her winning all 9 lip syncs, then gave. And I like Angeria. Angeria was at the Drag Race premiere. I like Angeria. Nice queen. But it just felt like I was playing in Roxy's face. Oh, well, I guess that's why they do it, so they can get people like you. And I know you've had a love-hate relationship over the years with Drag Race. So I know with you, you're going to be the type that's like, I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but now it's got you convinced. Well, thank you for tuning in. Yes, thank you for an amazing 2025. 2025 was a very interesting year. It went by like a blur. Hopefully the rest of this administration's term goes by in a flash. We're just going to have to deal with the aftermath of that mess once he's finally out of office and MAGA's officially kaput. But yeah, 2025 was a crazy year. Here's to a even better 2026. I choose not to have all that negative stuff that's going on with this administration and all this other stuff affect what I got going on. I'm thinking onwards and upwards. We're going to have a great 2026. There's a lot of great movies coming out. I'm sure a lot of crazy celebrity news and gossip we're going to be dishing on this show. And the fact of this channel continuing to grow. I remember considering thinking, like, I want to start doing my lives on Twitch again. I had stopped doing it at some point because I was serving both Facebook channels, Facebook lives. So I think I'm going to just do the YouTube, a live, and a Twitch. So I think I'm going to go back to building that up in 2026. So yeah, this is going to be the last show, I will say, of 2025, because I'm going to be working. I'm going to be bringing in the new year with Fish at the Garden. So I will be back on January 1st, hopefully with some juicy hot topics. So we're going to bring in the new year, January 1st, with some tea. Hopefully I'll also be able to see Stranger Things. Who knows? Maybe when I get out of work, I'll probably just come right home at 3 a.m. and stay up and watch Stranger Things just so that way I can see that. But then again, I might not, because that's 2 hours. And I don't want to be one of those people that fall asleep in the middle of it and I'm going to be mad and not realize I fall asleep. Because something that happens, I'll put the TV on and I don't even realize I fall asleep. And then I wake up and I'm like, wait, I was just watching this movie. What happened? And then something else is on. So yes, thank you all for supporting me and, all those new and old and everything that had a great 2025. Here's a 2026. Hit that like button, that subscribe, and also smash the notification bell. Love you all for watching. Love you for your continued support. And until next time, which is next year, ciao, darlings.